Chapter 24:17. Who would have thought that instead of sending someone to pick them up, his parents actually came to the capital by themselves? At this moment, Zhao Tianlong's situation is extremely awkward. It's not good to let Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia go back, but it's also not good to not let them go back. Zhao Tianlong frowns and doesn't say a word. Zhao Wenshi also mutters, "Tianlong, you've been busy these days? Father, mother, grandfather, and grandmother have all been waiting for you at home for a long time. But it's fine, we came here on our own. The residence that the imperial court arranged for you is really good. It's really big. Look at how imposing this residence is. We can live in it in the future. Hurry up and bring us in to take a look. Your grandmother has been running around for 2 days. She's already so old and is different from young people. Her bones can't withstand the torment." Zhao Tianlong awkwardly stands there, not knowing how to respond. The woman beside Zhao Tianlong, Princess Miao Yin, frowns when she sees Zhao Wenshi, Feng Zhangxia, and Hu Chunhua. She asks, "Tianlong, these are your father, mother, and grandmother?" Princess Miao Yin's tone reveals a trace of disbelief. What she couldn't figure out was that Zhao Tianlong looked gentle and refined, and was also very cultured. How can such an outstanding man have such vulgar relatives like Hu Chunhua and Zhao Wenshi? Just listening to their tone and the content of their conversation, Princess Miao Yin can't stand it. They are completely like country bumpkins who have never seen the world. If she were to live with such people in the future, she would go crazy. Without waiting for Zhao Tianlong to reply, Feng Zhangxia chuckles and steps forward. "That's right. We use Tianlong's father and mother. This lady, what's your relationship with our family's Tianlong? You look really beautiful. Your identity shouldn't be simple, right? Could it be that you're good friends with our family's Tianlong?" Zhao Tianlong gently tugs at Feng Zhangxia's sleeve. "Mother, what are you doing?" Feng Zhangxia smiles embarrassedly and replies, "Mother is just concerned about you," and casually asked, "Tianlong, quickly tell me, who is this lady? What's her relationship with you?" Zhao Tianlong didn't know what to say, but he still had to tell his family about this. Although Princess Miao Yin was a little disgusted with Zhao Wenshi and the other two, she endured it for the sake of Zhao Tianlong's family. She smiled and introduced herself to Feng Zhangxia. "I'm Sky Dragon's wife." Feng Zhangxia opened her mouth wide, her face full of shock. Why did this woman say that she was Zhao Tianlong's wife? Sky Dragon has already married a wife and is now at old Zhao's house. It was not as if he was afraid that Yang would not be able to withstand the torment due to her young age. He had probably brought her along with him on this trip. Why did Zhao Tianlong suddenly have another wife? Why did she have another daughter-in-law? Sky Dragon, what's going on? When did you marry another one? Does Panna know about this? Tianlong, mother is confused by you. What have you been doing in the capital these days? Zhao Tianlong's face was gloomy. There was no way to hide it, so he could only say, "Mother, Panna already knows about this. Your new daughter-in-law is the current princess. If not for her, I would not have come third in the imperial examinations, much less become an official in the capital. Miao Yin and I just got married a few days ago. Now she's my wife." Chapter 24:18. If they hadn't come to the capital personally, they wouldn't have known about this matter. At first, they thought that Zhao Tianlong's third place in the exam was just that, but they didn't expect there to be such a trick behind it. Zhao Wenshi asked in confusion, "Tianlong, you're really something. Why didn't you inform your family about such a big matter? Even if it's a wedding, the parents have to be present. First, bow to heaven and earth, then bow to the parents. The parents weren't present, so what did you bow to?" Thinking about it carefully, Zhao Wenshi was still a little angry. A child's marriage was a big matter. No matter what, it should be discussed with the parents. It wasn't that they disagreed, but the parents weren't present for such a big matter. It was fine if they weren't present, but they didn't even receive any news. Wasn't this showing that they didn't take them seriously? Father, mother, Shuilan village is so far away, and the wedding was arranged in a hurry. We didn't have time to invite you over. Please forgive us. The parents we bowed to were Miao Yin's father, Prince Jin. Zhao Wenshi snorted, a little unhappy. That won't do. Your parents didn't know and didn't come. I say, Tianlong, don't tell me you want to marry into their family and become a live-in son-in-law. It wasn't easy to raise his son, and he was his pride. If he married into their family and became a live-in son-in-law, he would belong to their family. Even if he received more glory and wealth in the future, he wouldn't allow it. Otherwise, when the news spread to the village, they would be laughed at by the villagers. Zhao Tianlong's mouth twitched, and he replied, Father, what are you talking about? I'm marrying Miao Yin, not marrying into her family. If I really want to marry into her family, I'll definitely have to discuss it with you. Zhao Wenshi dropped the subject. It's good that it's not. This kind of thing can't be done. Father, I know. Zhao Tianlong's tone carried a hint of impatience. He was afraid of losing face in front of Princess Miao Yin. It was easy for a country bumpkin to make a fool of himself. Feng Zhangxia sighed and asked, Tianlong, if you marry the group leader, will she be your wife or concubine? Mother, with Miao Yin's noble status, she'll naturally be my wife. But you've already married Pan. She also married in your family first. What does Pan count for? She didn't make a fuss about it with you, did she? No matter what, Feng Zhangxia was quite satisfied with Shun Pan as her daughter-in-law. She even helped her give birth to a grandson. Now that Zhao Tianlong had married Princess Miao Yin, Shun Pan naturally felt wronged. She could not help but remind Zhao Tianlong, Mother, Pan status isn't as noble as Princess Miao Yin's. From now on, Pan will be my concubine and Miao Yin will be my wife. I've already explained it to Pan, and she agreed. Zhao Tianlong explained. When he said this, he felt a little guilty. But for his own future, he had to do it. After spending some time with Princess Miao Yin, Zhao Tianlong realized that Princess Miao Yin was a woman that Shun Pan couldn't compare to. She had both looks and talent. She was proficient in zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting, and was able to chat with him. Most importantly, their family backgrounds were not bad. They could be of great help to him. Shun Pan was a gentle and considerate wife. Although Shun Pan had sacrificed a lot for him, in the end, it couldn't compare to Princess Miao Yin's sacrifice. Chapter 24:19. However, there was still a faint feeling in his heart that something was wrong. When Hua Chunhua heard this, she began to praise Zhao Tianlong. You two as parents are really too much. Tianlong being able to marry our great Zhou's princess is his ability and fortune, yet you two are still nagging about it. After saying this, Hua Chunhua giggled as she walked up to Princess Miao Yin. She pulled Princess Miao Yin's hand and said, my new granddaughter-in-law is really different. Not to mention her status as a princess, she is also very beautiful. This old woman is already so old, but I haven't seen anyone more beautiful than you in a long time. Our old Zhao family is also emitting smoke from our ancestral graves, allowing Tianlong to marry such a good wife. Hua Chunhua's hands were covered in a layer of calluses from working all year round, making them look very rough. The most important thing was that they were black and there was dirt between the cracks. Princess Miao Yin looked at them with disgust and was not used to being pulled by Hua Chunhua. In addition, they had been on the road for the past 2 days and had not washed up, so there was a strange smell on their bodies. In Princess Miao Yin's eyes, it was very smelly, very unpleasant. Princess Miao Yin slowly pulled her hand out of Hua Chunhua's hand and awkwardly said, Tianlong is a dragon among men. Marrying him is my fortune. My granddaughter-in-law's words are so nice. Tianlong, you have to be good to her, okay? Hua Chunhua said to Zhao Tianlong. Hua Chunhua saw things more clearly than Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia. Although Shun Pan was also a good granddaughter-in-law, she could not compare to the dignified princess of the great Zhou country. Zhao Tianlong marrying this kind of wife would be very helpful to him. In the future, his road to promotion and wealth would be much easier. In this day and age, if one wanted to stand out and climb higher, one had to have a powerful background. It was absolutely impossible to rely on oneself. What's more, Zhao Tianlong was only marrying Princess Miao Yin as his official wife. He didn't say anything about divorcing Shen Pan. The higher Zhao Tianlong climbed, the higher his position would be, and the more blessings he would enjoy together with Shen Pan. Any considerate wife would know what to do. She couldn't delay her man's future. Zhao Tianlong said somewhat helplessly, "Father, mother, grandmother, let's not stand outside and talk so much. Let's go inside, and I'll arrange for you to have a good rest." Of course, this was just an excuse. Zhao Tianlong did not want Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia to lose face. The more they said, the more vulgar the country people were. Hua Chunhua felt that Zhao Tianlong's suggestion was very good. She was indeed very tired at this moment. Moreover, he was tired and hungry. After tossing and turning for a few days, if he didn't rest well, even his old bones wouldn't be able to hold on. Good. Then let's go inside and rest. It just so happens that this old woman wants to see what it's like inside. From the outside, it's really imposing. I've never seen such a big room before. Hua Chunhua's face was filled with joy and expectation. Zhao Tianlong replied with a bit of displeasure. At this moment, he was thinking about what to do in the future. Could it be that he really had to let his father and mother stay here? That wouldn't do. If they stayed in the capital, who knew what kind of joke they would become? He had to think of a reason to send the three of them back to Shui Lawn Village. Chapter 24:20. As for Hua Chunhua, she walked to the entrance and snorted at the guard. She spat on the ground and scolded, "Little bastard, why don't you open your eyes and take a good look? I already said that I am your family's Lord Zhao's grandmother, and you still don't believe me. Now you believe me. Let's see if you still dare to hit my wife in the future. You still want to be a servant with such poor eyesight." After Hua Chunhua finished scolding the guard, she straightened her back and walked towards Zhao Tianlong's residence. Her face was filled with complacency, as if she had won a victory. The guard at the entrance lowered his head. His heart was filled with shock. His family's Lord Zhao seemed to be quite kind, refined, and cultured. How did his family become like this? A bunch of uncultured country bumpkins. He really couldn't be blamed for making a mistake. It was a pity that he could only mutter these words in his heart. Princess Miao Yin walked behind Hua Chunhua. After seeing this scene, her disdain for Hua Chunhua increased. Her brows slightly knitted, thinking that country bumpkins were country bumpkins. It could be seen from their actions. If they had status, they wouldn't spit so casually. Wasn't it obvious that they were disgusting? Unfortunately, no matter how much she disliked them, they were still Zhao Tianlong's relatives. It wouldn't be good for her to kick them out now. She had to properly plan for the future. Otherwise, if she stayed with these vulgar people for a while longer, she definitely wouldn't be able to take it. They walked into Zhao Tianlong's residence. Because it was purchased with the help of Prince Jin, even in a place like the capital where every inch of land was worth gold, it was still luxurious. The residence was very big. After walking for half a day, they still hadn't reached the end. Hua Chunhua and the other two were like Granny Lu entering the Grandview Garden. They kept looking here and there, as if they couldn't get enough of it. Hua Chunhua couldn't help but sigh. My mother, this residence is really big. I thought that having a few dozen rooms would be good enough. But there are more than a few dozen rooms. There are more than a few mu of land. Moreover, it was dazzling with gold and jade everywhere. It was truly imposing. I didn't come out to take a look this time. Who knew that there would be such a good house? Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia were also shocked and nodded in agreement. That's right, Mom. Sky Dragon's house is really big. We haven't even walked around for half a day, and it's already half the size of our village. Haha, being a high-ranking official is indeed different. Living in such a good place. How comfortable would it be to live in such a place every day? I can't think about it. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. Fortunately, we were smart enough to come here in advance to enjoy ourselves. Your father, that idiot, didn't even know to come along. Hua Chunhua was overjoyed as she muttered. Feng Zhangxia's heart was filled with the happiness of being able to move in. Instead, it was filled with pride. To be able to live in such a good house meant that his son was capable. He really wished that everyone in the village could come and take a look and then envy her for having such a capable son. The three of them didn't know that their actions of looking around and sighing while walking made them look like clowns who hadn't seen the world. They even came out to make a fool of themselves. Zhao Tianlong wished that he could find a hole in the ground to hide in. Fortunately, this was his residence and no one else saw him. Miao Yin was also very good to him and had never despised him. Otherwise, if others saw him, he would definitely be laughed at. Chapter 24-21. Zhao Wensher was a little unhappy. Tianlong, what's wrong with that? It's fine to be a little louder in our own home. We're not being noisy, right? Hua Chunhua chimed in. That's right. Tianlong, this is our home, not outside. What's the point of worrying so much? Who would be so restrained in their own home? Zhao Tianlong felt even more helpless towards these three people. He could only hope that he could send them back as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be too difficult for him to keep them around. Seeing that they did not listen to his advice, Zhao Tianlong could only give up. After walking for a while, they reached the central room. Zhao Tianlong instructed the servants to prepare some food. Father, mother, grandmother, you must be hungry too. I prepared some food. Sit down and eat first before you go back to rest. Zhao Tianlong called out. Zhao Wensher and the other two nodded in agreement. If Zhao Tianlong did not say anything, they would not have felt anything. After he said it, they realized that their stomachs were growling. They were indeed hungry. They had been on the road for so long and had not eaten properly. All they ate was dry rations. When they finally reached Yang City, the guards did not allow them to enter Zhao Tianlong's residence. They had to wait outside for a long time. At this moment, their stomachs were growling. They could not wait to eat something, especially rice to fill their stomachs. Good. There's no rush to rest. While eating, we can also chat with Tianlong. What did you experience when you became an official in the capital? How have you been? As parents, they were naturally concerned about their children's future. The corner of Zhao Tianlong's mouth twitched. He did not know how to refuse. Actually, he did not want to talk to them at all. At this moment, he wished that he could find a hole to hide in so that Zhao Wensher and the rest would not find out. Hua Chunhua smiled and said to Princess Miao Yin, eldest granddaughter-in-law, you have to sit down. Let's have a good chat. As soon as I saw you, I liked you so much. It's not easy for our family to gather together. This is what Tianlong's father said. Let's chat while we eat. Princess Miao Yin's eyes flashed with undetectable disdain. However, after so many years of good education and self-cultivation, she could not be too rude to her elders. After all, filial piety was the most important virtue. Furthermore, in front of Zhao Tianlong, she had to put on the appearance of a virtuous wife and not a proud and willful princess. Suppressing the disgust in her heart, Princess Miao Yin pursed her lips and replied, All right. Hua Chunhua couldn't stop smiling when she heard that. Not long after, the dishes were prepared in the kitchen, and the servants in the residence served the dishes. Needless to say, there was no need to mention the officials' meals. Red braised meat, roasted chicken, fish, braised lion's head, and so on were all laid out on the table. The richness of the food left Zhao Wensher and the other two dumbfounded. Zhao Wensher glanced at the dishes on the table and exclaimed, Wow, the dishes are really sumptuous. That's right. They are all dishes that we have never seen before. Just by looking at the dishes and smelling the aroma, you can tell that they are extremely delicious. Being an official is indeed different. They eat all these good things. This old woman has lived for decades, but I have never seen such a sumptuous meal. Hua Chunhua smiled, not concealing the excitement in her heart. Chapter 24-22. Sure enough, the money she spent on Zhao Tianlong was not wasted. She was already so old and could still enjoy life for a while. She could eat well and live well. She could also live like those rich families and have servants by her side to serve her. This kind of life was something that many people could only wish for. Facing these three people, Zhao Tianlong felt even more embarrassed. The more Zhao Wenshi and the others sighed, the more it showed that their family was ignorant. In front of Princess Miao Yin, it naturally made them look even more despicable. The truth was just as Zhao Tianlong had feared. After Princess Miao Yin saw them, she felt even more disgusted. Previously, she felt that country bumpkins were just country bumpkins. It was just a difference in status, and the difference between them shouldn't be too big. Now that she saw Zhao Wenshi and the others, she truly understood what country bumpkins were. Sometimes, it wasn't just a difference in status, but also a difference in living environment and background. Personal knowledge, bottom line, and quality were all very different. There was an uncrossable gap in between. Princess Miao Yin thought of herself as a magnanimous person, but when she saw Zhao Wenshi and the others acting like this, she couldn't help but feel disgusted. She could maintain a polite appearance for a few days, but if she continued to endure like this, her heart would definitely collapse. Zhao Tianlong said with a sullen face, "Father, mother, grandmother, don't say so much. Hurry up and eat. Otherwise, the food won't taste good when it gets cold." "Ha, good. Everyone sit down and eat." Zhao Wenshi nodded with a smile, then called the others to sit down at the table. Hu Chunhua impatiently picked up her chopsticks and placed a lot of food into her bowl. After tasting the food, Hu Chunhua giggled, "Delicious, delicious, really delicious. Tianlong, the chef you hired is really good. The chefs in Yang City's restaurants are not as good as your chefs. Boss, wife, quickly try it." "Mother, we know. You eat your food, we know how to eat," Feng Zhangxiao replied. Because the three of them were tired from the journey, they were already very hungry. Once again, they had never seen such good food in their lives. Each and every one of them looked like beggars who had been starving for a few days, crouching in front of the table and wolfing down the food. In addition, he was a country bumpkin, so the way he ate was rather crude. He didn't pay much attention to the places where he ate, and the noise he made was particularly loud. Especially when he was eating, his mouth kept mumbling nonstop. Seeing this scene, Princess Miao Yin frowned. Facing the table full of food, she couldn't eat. Her chopsticks didn't move for a long time. Zhao Tianlong, who was sitting at the side, was equally embarrassed and did not eat much. Seeing the dissatisfaction on Princess Miao Yin's face, Zhao Tianlong braced himself and said to Zhao Wenshi and the other two, "Father, mother, grandmother, eat slowly, don't rush. No one is fighting with you to eat, so why are you in such a hurry to eat? Also, don't talk when you're eating, and don't talk when you're sleeping. Since you're eating, don't nag. Finish your meal first." After Zhao Tianlong finished speaking, Zhao Wenshi put down the chopsticks in his hand and snorted, "Tianlong, we don't understand those flowery words of yours. Moreover, didn't we eat like this at home? We've been like this for our whole lives, so why are we so particular about it?" Chapter 24-23. Feng Zhangxiao replied, "It's because Sky Dragon has been studying too much. He's too particular about what he learns from books. Us country bumpkins have never studied before, so naturally we're not like him." "That's true." Zhao Wenshi nodded thoughtfully. "Although many of the principles in the books are correct, not everything is correct. Eating like us, the whole family chatting while eating, how lively is that? In our village, every family is the same, and I have never heard anyone say that it's wrong." It's fine. Tianlong was just saying, we don't have to take it to heart. Let's continue eating," Hu Chunhua called out. After wolfing down the food for a while, they still did not fill their stomachs. Not sure if it was because they were too hungry, but they kept feeling that their stomachs were empty. Zhao Wenshi's face sank even more. He had already said it, but unfortunately, these people refused to listen. What could he do? How could he quarrel with Zhao Wenshi and the rest? That would make him seem unfilial. If someone were to find out and spread the news, he would become a joke. Hu Chunhua saw that Zhao Tianlong and Princess Miao Yin had not touched their chopsticks, and hurriedly called out, "Eldest grandson, eldest granddaughter-in-law, don't just stand there. Hurry up and eat. Otherwise, this meal will be finished by the three of us." As Hu Chunhua spoke, She deliberately put a chicken drumstick into Princess Miao Yin's bowl with concern and smiled fawningly. Eldest granddaughter-in-law, it's not that Grandma wants to lecture you, but your small body is still too thin. You have to eat more to nourish your body so that our old Zhao family can have another grandson. Princess Miao Yin looked at the chicken drumstick that Hu Chunhua had put in her bowl. How could she eat it? This old woman was so dirty, and she was using her own chopsticks to pick food for her. She had a bit of misophobia, so naturally she could not stand it. However, Princess Miao Yin could not flare up, so she could only give the chicken drumstick to Zhao Tianlong and faintly reply to Hu Chunhua, "Grandma, I don't like to eat chicken drumsticks. You don't have to give me food. I'm not hungry. I can't eat now." Hu Chunhua stared blankly. She didn't see Princess Miao Yin's disdain. My eldest granddaughter-in-law, you must only eat and drink good food. You don't even like chicken drumsticks. If we were in the countryside, everyone would fight to eat such good food." Zhao Tianlong was being tormented by Zhao Wenshi and Hu Chunhua to the point that he was on the verge of breaking down. "Grandmother, Princess Miao Yin is from the capital, and she's also a princess. You shouldn't speak in front of her like how you speak in the countryside. Even if you speak with extravagant embellishments, she won't understand." Hu Chunhua smiled awkwardly. "Oh, Tianlong, I'm just concerned about my granddaughter-in-law." "Well, Dad, Mom, Grandma, you guys eat. I'll take Sweet Sound back to rest first. The servants will help you settle down later." Zhao Tianlong could not bear it any longer and could only leave with Princess Miao Yin. If they were to continue staying here, Zhao Tianlong was afraid that Princess Miao Yin would get angry. Zhao Wenshi hurriedly said, Tianlong, you child, why are you leaving so early? Why aren't you accompanying Dad and Mom to chat more?" Zhao Tianlong ignored Zhao Wenshi's calls and still left with Princess Miao Yin. After leaving, it became much quieter. However, this was not a solution. Chapter 24:24. The more Zhao Tianlong thought about it, the more tired he felt. How did he end up with such a family? It wasn't easy for him to become a high-ranking official. With Prince Jin's help, he would only climb higher in the future. He didn't want to be delayed by his family. Seeing Princess Miao Yin's displeasure, Zhao Tianlong held her hand and said softly, "Miao Yin, it's been hard on you." Princess Miao Yin pulled out a smile and shook her head. "It's nothing. For you, I don't care about anything. I can endure anything." Zhao Tianlong sighed and looked at Princess Miao Yin with a touched expression. "Miao Yin, you're too good to me. Originally, marrying me made you suffer. I'm just a country boy. I can't compare to those officials in the city. But you still insisted on marrying me and endured all these with me. Miao Yin, I will not let you down in this life. I will love you well." Princess Miao Yin revealed a happy smile. "This princess has taken a fancy to you. Even if you're just a country boy, as long as I like you, I will be with you. You don't have the arrogance of those officials. You make me feel at ease. I believe that if I follow you, you will cherish me and won't let me suffer any grievances." Zhao Tianlong pulled Princess Miao Yin into his embrace. "Miao Yin, don't worry. I will only hold you in the palm of my hand." And at this moment, Zhao Tianlong and Princess Miao Yin were in a lovey-dovey situation, completely forgetting that he was deeply in love with Shun Pan Min. When he made those promises, his heart might really be like that. However, time will change everything. Even the vows of undying love could be blown away by the wind, completely forgotten. If the world's most heartless animal is a man, Zhao Wenshi and the other two ate for a long time until their stomachs were full. Only when they couldn't eat anymore did they stop. The servants and the residents led the three of them to their assigned living quarters. "Master, Madam, old Madam, this is where you will live. If you have any orders, just tell us tonight." Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxiao were assigned to a room, while Hu Chunhua was assigned to a room next to theirs. The two rooms were very large, and the decorations inside were also very luxurious. The living quarters in the countryside could never be compared to them. Hu Chunhua went into the room and looked around. She touched here and there, sighing that the furniture in the room was too good. "TSK, TSK, TSK, this room is too good," Hua Chunhua murmured. "I can live in this big house alone. I didn't even dare to think about it in the past. Now, thanks to the heavenly dragon, I can live here." Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia shared the same sentiments as Hua Chunhua. The room was indeed very good. It was brightly lit and different from the low-thatched houses in the countryside. Living in such a big room would make one's mood a lot better. "Aya, this bed is really soft. The quilt on top and the cotton on the bottom are both soft and comfortable. How warm would it be to sleep at night? Especially this quilt. Is it made of silk? It's so smooth to the touch, so comfortable." Hua Chunhua purposely laid down on the bed as she spoke, enjoying the comfort. Boss's wife? You don't say, it's really good. Our countryside can't compare at all. Being an official and having money is really different. People from poor families can't enjoy such good things in their lifetime. Chapter 24-25. Feng Zhangxia chuckled. "Mother, if an official's family isn't good, then who would want to be an official? As for us, we can drag along Tianlong's good fortune and enjoy ourselves here." And then, that's true, ha. The more Hua Chunhua thought about it, the happier she became. She couldn't control the excitement in her heart. "Mother, then you should rest well in the room. Tianlong's father and I will go to the other room to rest." "All right, go ahead." Hua Chunhua nodded. Now that she was full, she began to feel sleepy. In addition, she had been on the move for several days and hadn't rested well, so she was very sleepy. It was fine if she didn't think about it, but once she thought about it, Hua Chunhua yawned again and again. She took off her shoes and crawled into bed. Feng Zhangxia and Zhao Wenshi went to the other room to rest. The three of them didn't wash up and directly fell asleep. They didn't eat dinner and slept until the next morning. Princess Miao Yin called for a servant to inquire about Zhao Wenshi and the other two's behavior yesterday. When she heard that they went to bed without washing up, she was disgusted by the level of filth. She suppressed the displeasure in her heart and calculated how she could drive the three of them out of the residence. Of course, she couldn't do it openly. If others found out, they would only gossip. Of all virtues, filial piety was the most important. Princess Miao Yin didn't want herself and Zhao Tianlong to be criticized. She had to think of a suitable method to make them unable to say anything. After thinking for a while, Shun Pan called for Zhao Wenshi and the other two to come out for breakfast. Zhao Tianlong had gone to the morning court early in the morning and wasn't in the residence. Taking advantage of the time when the three of them were eating, Princess Miao Yin ordered a servant to secretly stuff something into Hua Chunhua's bed. She planned to frame Hua Chunhua and drive her away. Just as Zhao Wenshi and the other two were happily finishing their breakfast and sighing about how sumptuous it was, Zhao Tianlong returned from the morning court. Zhao Wenshi chuckled and asked Zhao Tianlong, "Tianlong, have you eaten yet? Being an official isn't easy. You have to wake up so early every day." Zhao Tianlong pulled the corner of his mouth and replied, "Father, I've already eaten. You guys also just ate, right?" "Haha, that's right. We woke up late today and just ate." "Tianlong, your residence has so much variety in the morning, and it's so delicious. The countryside is so. Father and mother will be able to enjoy life with you in the future." Zhao Wenshi sighed with emotion. How could he not be happy when he thought about how he could eat and drink like this every day? Zhao Tianlong's eyes revealed a hint of Zhao Tianlong's eyes. Sigh. It was his father's words that made him a little embarrassed to send them back. Zhao SSS, he was it ts to be an official T-test. Otherwise, how could he have the opportunity to come to the capital to take the exam? And how could he be so lucky as to meet Princess Miao Yin? If he didn't study, he would probably work in the fields like other countrymen. How could he be an official, live in a big residence, and live a good life? But it wasn't good to let them stay in a residence while Zhao Tianlong was in a dilemma. Princess Miao Yin suddenly said, "Husband, I think I lost my golden bracelet. The Empress Dowager personally gave it to me. If the Empress Dowager finds out that I lost it, she'll definitely punish me." Chapter 24-26. Princess Miao Yin frowned as she recalled. Yesterday, when I returned to the residence, I was still touching it. Last night, when I went back to sleep, it seemed to have disappeared. So it's like this. Zhao Tianlong thought for a moment and said, those things should still be in the residence. Princess Miao Yu nodded. And it should be in the residence. Since it's in the residence, there's a possibility of finding it. It's much better than leaving it outside. Quickly send someone to look for it. It should be able to be found. Zhao Tianlong said softly. Princess Miao Yin sighed. I've already sent someone to look for it, but they couldn't find it. Zhao Tianlong frowned. How is that possible? They actually left it in the residence. If we search carefully, we will definitely be able to find it. It must be that these servants did not do their job properly. Let them continue searching. I don't believe that they won't be able to find it. Princess Miao Yin whispered, Tianlong, you know our servants well. They all do their best. How could they dare to slack off? Then what's going on? Zhao Tianlong asked, puzzled. In my opinion, someone must have secretly hidden it after it was accidentally lost yesterday. It's such a valuable thing. They must want to keep it for themselves and are not willing to hand it over. Princess Miao Yin spoke out her conjecture. After Zhao Tianlong heard this, he became angry. They dare to hide their master's things. Sometimes, if we catch someone who doesn't return it, we will immediately expel them from the residence. Our residence will not raise people with dirty hands. Princess Miao Yin also appeared somewhat sad. This kind of person cannot be kept in a residence. Their hands and feet are dirty. I'm afraid it will be the same in the future. The residents cannot tolerate this kind of person, no matter who it is. Zhao Tianlong replied heavily. Yes, this kind of person cannot be tolerated. Even Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia agreed. I'm most afraid of raising a traitor at home. Tianlong, once you catch him, you will be severely punished. A country has its laws, and a family has its rules. Every rule in the family. Where does the master's imposing manner come from? How can he control so many people in the residence? Zhao Tianlong replied, Then let's search. We have to search every inch of it carefully. Today, I will definitely find this person with dirty hands and feet. When the servants heard Zhao Tianlong's instructions, they hurriedly went to hide the items in the residence. Under Princess Miao Yin's arrangements, even Hua Chunhua's room was not spared. Originally, Zhao Wenshi, Feng Zhangxia, and Hua Chunhua had the attitude of watching a good show. In the end, they heard a manservant come to report that Princess Miao Yin's golden bracelet was found under Hua Chunhua's quilt. Hua Chunhua was stunned. She didn't steal it at all. How could it be found in her bed? Hua Chunhua scolded the servant who came to report. How can you frame me like this? I didn't take it. It must be one of you who stole it. You want to shirk responsibility, so you stuffed the golden bracelet under my blanket and framed me. The servants replied with trepidation, Old madam, we didn't, and we wouldn't dare. When we searched, there were several people present at the same time to avoid the possibility of framing others. There were several people who saw it when it was found under your quilt. And old madam, no matter how much courage we have, we wouldn't dare to do such a disrespectful thing. Chapter 24-27. The servants did not dare to talk back to Hua Chunhua and could only helplessly look at Zhao Tianlong and Princess Miao Yin. Zhao Tianlong's current state of mind was very complicated. Regardless of whether Hua Chunhua did it or not, he had already lost a lot of face, especially in front of Princess Miao Yin, because this matter showed that his family members were not only vulgar, but also very greedy. Not to mention Princess Miao Yin, even he himself could not stand such people. Hua Chunhua saw that Zhao Tianlong's reaction seemed to be believing the servants and became anxious. She hurriedly said to Zhao Tianlong, Tianlong, don't listen to these servants' nonsense. Your grandmother is not such a person. How could she do such a thing? From what I see, they are clearly making things difficult for this old woman and are deliberately framing me. Zhao Tianlong slightly said, Grandmother, the servants can't be working together to frame you, right? These gold bracelets must have been found in your bed. Hua Chunhua's face turned red with anger when she heard this. She glared at Zhao Tianlong and said, Tianlong, why are you like this? You can believe a few servants, but you can't believe your own grandmother? Zhao Tianlong's face darkened. Grandmother, it's not that I don't believe you, but the truth is in front of me. I only believe in the truth. Why would the servants say that they found them in your bed for no reason? Hua Chunhua spat a mouthful of saliva on the ground and replied contemptuously, Bah, how would I know why these servants are trying to pin the blame on me? In any case, this old woman did not steal or take it. This matter has nothing to do with me. Zhao Wenshi could not stand it anymore. He knew his mother's character. Usually, he would want to put everything he saw into his pocket. This time, she probably saw that Princess Miao Yin's gold bracelets were valuable and secretly picked them up. She did not think of returning them and hid them in her bed. She did not expect that they would be found. She was so desperate that she was unwilling to admit it. Hua Chunhua had used this trick more than once when she was at old Zhao's house. Zhao Wenshi was already used to it. She turned to Hua Chunhua and said, Mother, if you want to give it to me, just give it to me. It's not a big deal anyway. Can't you just make things clear now? Feng Zhangxia chimed in. That's right, Mother. So be it. They've already found it in your house. What else is there to say? He had only picked it up secretly, so it wasn't considered stealing. His eldest daughter-in-law would definitely not fuss about it. Why are you quarreling with Sky Dragon? When Hua Chunhua saw that her son and daughter-in-law were all siding with Zhao Tianlong and saying that she was not, she was instantly enraged. How infuriating! If she was really the one who did it, then so be it. But this matter was not her at all. Who would be happy to have a pot of sh*tea thrown at them for no reason? Hua Chunhua was so angry that her mouth was almost crooked. She spat at Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia. Bah, you two heartless people think that this old woman got it? I said it wasn't, so it wasn't. Why don't you believe me? Feng Zhangxia wiped the saliva off her face in disgust and said to Hua Chunhua, Mother, it's not that we don't believe you. How can we believe you when the truth is so obvious? Even if it was a servant who framed you. Why would so many people frame you? You were only caught because your boat was dirty. Chapter 24-28. What Feng Zhangxia was most dissatisfied with was Hua Chunhua's temperament. Other mothers-in-law were not as powerful as Hua Chunhua. She only said a few words of fairness and spoke her mind. She did not mean anything else. However, after Hua Chunhua heard Feng Zhangxia's words, she became even more furious and rushed up to fight with Feng Zhangxia. You stinky woman, you actually know how to slander me. It seems like you're asking for a beating. See how my wife will deal with you. Hua Chunhua stretched out her black claws and scratched towards Feng Zhangxia's face. She seemed to have gathered all her strength and wanted to scratch Feng Zhangxia's face. While the two were pushing and shoving, they did not pay much attention. When Princess Miao Yin saw the situation, she deliberately raised her voice to stop them. Seeing this, she had an idea and deliberately moved forward to stop the fight. In the midst of the shoving, Princess Miao Yin was accidentally knocked down and fell heavily to the ground. Princess Miao Yin cried out in pain. Zhao Tianlong was so scared that he rushed up. Miao Yin, how are you? Are you all right? Hua Chunhua and Feng Zhangxia also stopped their actions because of Princess Miao Yin's accident. No matter how strong Hua Chunhua was, she did not dare to move in this situation. She nervously looked at Princess Miao Yin's accident. Eldest granddaughter-in-law, what happened? Are you all right? It's Grandma's fault. I accidentally touched you. Hua Chunhua weakly said to Princess Miao Yin. She then glared at Feng Zhangxia and said, It's all because of you, you bitch. If it weren't for you, my eldest granddaughter-in-law wouldn't have been hurt. Feng Zhangxia was speechless. How could this matter be blamed on her? Just now she did not move. It was Hua Chunhua who attacked first. She only blocked her. She couldn't just let Hua Chunhua hit her, right? She had accidentally hurt Princess Miao Yin, and as a result, Hua Chunhua had pushed all the blame onto her. This was simply too unreasonable. Mother, you were the one who attacked first. How can you blame me? If you didn't attack me, Would you have been able to hurt anyone? You're already so old, yet your temper is still so bad. Feng Zhangxiao accused Hu Chunhua in dissatisfaction. If it was in the past, Feng Zhangxiao would not dare to talk back to Hu Chunhua. In the countryside, the mother-in-law was more important than the daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law had to listen to whatever the mother-in-law said. But things were different now. Now that she had such a capable son like Zhao Tianlong to rely on, who would she be afraid of? Zhao Tianlong was annoyed by the noise and snapped. Can all of you shut up? Don't you find it annoying to quarrel with each other? Don't you find it a joke? With Zhao Tianlong's roar, Hu Chunhua and Feng Zhangxiao were so scared that they did not even dare to fart. Seeing that Hu Chunhua and Feng Zhangxiao had calmed down, Zhao Tianlong turned to Princess Miao Yin and asked with concern, Miao Yin, how are you? Does it hurt? Are you hurt anywhere? Princess Miao Yin nodded and pointed her knee. It hurts here. Zhao Tianlong rolled up Princess Miao Yin's trousers and discovered that Princess Miao Yin's knees had been injured. Seeing the traces of blood on it, Zhao Tianlong's heart ached. One must know that Princess Miao Yin had been pampered since she was young. Being held in the palm of his hand, he was afraid that she would be hurt. Under the protection of Prince Jin, Princess Miao Yin rarely got hurt. She did not expect that not long after marrying him, she would be hurt by his family. Chapter 24-29. Zhao Tianlong is filled with guilt as he says to Princess Miao Yin, Miao Yin, I'm sorry. It's my fault. Princess Miao Yin shakes her head as her lips curl into a smile. She comforts Zhao Tianlong. It's all right, Tianlong. It's just a small injury. Moreover, this matter has nothing to do with you. You don't have to apologize to me. Miao Yin. The more Princess Miao Yin says this, the more guilty Zhao Tianlong feels. Although he didn't push her, nor did he cause her injury, he can't escape responsibility. If not for him, Feng Zhangxia and Hu Chunhua wouldn't have come to the residence. If not for these few people causing trouble, how could Princess Miao Yin be injured? The resentment that he had accumulated towards Zhao Wenshi and the other two suddenly erupts at this moment. Zhao Tianlong looks towards Hu Chunhua, Zhao Wenshi, and Feng Zhangxia, and says, Father, Mother, Grandmother, there's something I want to tell you. Seeing Zhao Tianlong's stern face, it doesn't look like he has anything good to say. She asks, Tianlong, what do you want to say? If you have something to say, just say it. Tianlong, what's the matter? Zhao Tianlong takes a deep breath. Since he has to say it sooner or later, he might as well take advantage of this opportunity to say it directly to prevent more problems from happening in the residence in the future. Father, Mother, Grandmother, I'll send someone to send you back tomorrow. Back to Shui Lan Village. Hearing Zhao Tianlong's words, the three of them are stunned. Their eyes widen, thinking that they heard wrongly. Hu Chunhua asks with a trembling voice. What? Tianlong, you said you're sending us back to Shui Lan Village? What's this for? Yes, Tianlong, what do you mean by this? It wasn't easy for us to come here. Why are you sending us back? We're going to stay here in the future. Later on, we're going to bring your grandfather and Pan over to stay. Zhao Wenshi frowns as he asks, puzzled. Zhao Tianlong says, what I mean is that we're going to stay in Shui Lan Village in the future. There's no need to come over. Hu Chunhua and the other two were dumbfounded. Tianlong, our old Zhao family supported your education and hoped that you would be successful. Now that you're an official in the capital, you won't let us live here. What's the meaning of this? We're all hoping to follow you and enjoy life. We've waited so long for this day. Why are you like this? Do you have a heart to see us go back and suffer? Sky Dragon, what you're doing is unkind. To put it bluntly, he was unfilial and deserved to be struck by lightning. It wasn't easy for our family to support you, and now that you've made a name for yourself, you're kicking us aside? Is this something a human would do? Even Feng Zhangxia, who usually protected her son, said angrily. Feng Zhangxia didn't mind if she kicked Hu Chunhua out, but Feng Zhangxia naturally didn't feel comfortable if she kicked him and Zhao Wenshi out as well. If he went back now, it was not a matter of whether he could enjoy life or not, but if he stayed in the countryside, he would definitely be laughed at by the villagers. Those gossips in the village would definitely talk about how her son was going to become an official in the capital, while she was still holed up in a remote place instead of following him to the capital to enjoy life. Zhao Tianlong directly said what he was thinking. Father, mother, grandmother, this is the capital and not some other place. You guys came here and caused such a ruckus, revealing the vulgarity of the villagers. If this spreads out, I'll only be laughed at by my colleagues. I could forget about staying in the capital in the future. Chapter 2430. Zhao Wenshi was so angry at Zhao Tianlong's words that his body trembled. He scolded Zhao Tianlong. Tianlong, haven't you thought that if you chase the three of us back, we will only be laughed at and embarrassed by the villagers? As the saying goes, a son doesn't despise his mother for being ugly, and a dog doesn't despise his family for being poor. Our old Zhao family worked so hard to raise you and spent so much effort and money on you. Is this how you despise us? How are we embarrassing you if we stay here? What have we done? I think these are all excuses. You don't want us to stay here, right? Hua Chunhua also scolded. Now that you have the ability, your wings have hardened. You even despise your own family. What kind of heartless creatures are you raising? If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have spent so much money. Now I'm so frustrated. Although Feng Zhangxiao was angry, she still let out a long sigh. She first comforted Zhao Wenshi and Hua Chunhua. All right. Mother, Tianlong's father, don't be so harsh with your words. Discuss this with Tianlong. After all, we are family. What's the point of making things like this? After Feng Zhangxiao finished speaking, she said to Zhao Tianlong kindly, Tianlong, we didn't know the rules of the capital, so we were a little immature. Please don't take it to heart. I promise that I will be more careful in the future and won't do it again. Can you not let us return to Shueilon village? Not to mention the torment, we will definitely be laughed at by the villagers when we return. Even you will be ridiculed by the villagers. It's not good to make a bad joke out of ourselves. Tianlong, you are our old Zhao family's only hope. Father and mother have watched you become a high-ranking official. It wasn't easy for you to stand out. We have waited for so many years for this day to come. We want to follow you and live a good life. Now that you want us to go back, aren't you hurting our hearts? Although Zhao Tianlong felt a little guilty, he still insisted, Father, mother, don't blame your son for being heartless. Your son really has no other choice. Being an official in the capital is not as easy as you think. Once you are mocked and looked down upon by your colleagues, your path in the bureaucracy will be difficult. If your son is not doing well, how can you live a good life? It was all thanks to Princess Miao Yin that he was able to come third in the imperial examination and become a high-ranking official. Otherwise, he might have already returned to Shueilon village. I'm just a poor student with no money or power. Do you really think you can rely on yourself to get to where you are today? Zhao Wenshi and the other two were stunned when they heard this. They did not expect Zhao Tianlong to be an official to have so many tricks up his sleeves. According to what Zhao Tianlong had said, the few of them really could not stay in capital city and delay Zhao Tianlong's career. However, they were unwilling to go back like this. Zhao Tianlong said, Father, mother, it's fine if you don't want to stay in the village. I'll buy you a house in Yang City or town. You can stay there. For the time being, let's arrange it like this. There's nothing to discuss. In any case, you can't stay in capital city. I'll let the servants make the arrangements and prepare some gold and silver for you. In the future, I'll send people to send you money and things back. Even if you don't live in capital city, you can still have ample food and clothing and enjoy the rest of your lives. After he finished speaking, Zhao Tianlong picked up Princess Miao Yin and said, I'm going to bring Miao Yin to apply medicine. If there's nothing else, I won't accompany you. Chapter 2431. Thus, under Zhao Tianlong's arrangement, Zhao Wenshi and the other two arrived at the capital with great difficulty. However, they were sent back before they could even stay for 2 days. After Zhao Wenshi left, Zhao Tianlong and Princess Miao Yin heaved a sigh of relief. They felt as if a stone had been removed from their hearts. Zhao Wenshi and the other two were in low spirits throughout the journey. Hua Chunhua was sobbing nonstop as she scolded. That stinking brat Tianlong is not human. Old Zhao family has been waiting for him to make a name for himself. Yet, he actually chased us all back. How can Yang's city and the town compare to the comfort of living in the capital? Oh my God! Isn't he afraid of being struck by lightning? How can he treat his own mother and grandmother like this? Our family's efforts over the years have all gone to waste. Although Feng Zhangxiao was unhappy about being sent back, she was even more unhappy about Hua Chunhua's nagging and slandering of her own son. After rushing for an entire day, Feng Zhangxia said to Hua Chunhua in a low voice, "Mother, can't you stop for a bit? Now that we're back, there's no point in nagging. You're so noisy that it hurts my ears. Also, how did our old Zhao family's efforts on Tianlong go to waste? Didn't Tianlong give us a lot of money? With this money, why should we be afraid that we won't be able to eat or drink for the rest of our lives? When the time comes, won't we be able to live freely in the town? The capital is a place for high officials and nobles to live in. We country folk are not suitable. Let's just forget about it." Hua Chunhua angrily glared at Feng Zhangxiao and said, "It's all because of you, woman. Now you're talking as if nothing happened. When we return to the village, you'll be the first to be laughed at. You'll be crying." Feng Zhangxiao lightly snorted. "Mother, there's no meaning in saying that. What did I do wrong? You were the one who made a fuss and made Tianlong unhappy. We all rushed back. Tianlong's father and I were implicated because of you. Otherwise, we would still be in the capital enjoying life. I don't know how you can say something like that." Hua Chunhua's embarrassment turned into anger. She wanted to fight with Feng Zhangxia again, but was stopped by Zhao Wenshi. Zhao Wenshi rubbed his aching forehead and scolded coldly. "Can you guys stop arguing? My head is as big as two heads. If you continue to annoy me, I won't be polite." Only then did Hua and Feng Zhangxia stop. After traveling for 2 days, the three of them returned to old Zhao's house. Seeing that they had returned, Zhao Baoshan snorted lightly and said with a mocking voice, "Yo, why are you back again? Shouldn't you be in the capital?" Hua Chunhua's face darkened as she scolded Tianlong in front of Zhao Baoshan. He thought that Zhao Baoshan would be angry after hearing this, but he didn't expect Zhao Baoshan to say indifferently, all right. It's not easy for Sky Dragon to make a name for himself. As his elders, let's not give him any more trouble. It's not like he doesn't care about us. Didn't he give us the money? No matter what, old Zhao's family can live without worries in the future. It's good to stay in the village when you're old. A fallen leaf returns to its roots. Nowhere is better than your hometown. Why must you insist on going to the capital? You can eat and drink every day. Isn't it enough to live comfortably? Hua Chunhua pursed her lips. "Old man, you're so open-minded. What's so good about this remote place? Nothing can compare to the capital." Chapter 2432. Zhao Baoshan snorted. "What's the use of saying that the capital is good? You're already back, so why aren't you looking at the bright side? You're really stubborn to get involved in this matter." Hua Chunhua angrily turned around and entered her room. She was too lazy to talk about this sad matter. She originally wanted Zhao Baoshan to comfort her, but in the end, she ended up eating a bellyful of anger from Zhao Baoshan. The news of Hua Chunhua and the other two returning to the village spread throughout the village. Many of the villagers gathered together to chat and laugh. Without a doubt, it was because Zhao Tianlong didn't agree to let them live there. Shen Pan waited at home for a long time, but Zhao Tianlong didn't come back to take her to the capital. Her heart couldn't help but turn cold. Men are so heartless. All the sweet words from before were fake. Once you have a new love, you forget your old one. You only see the smile of the new one. How can you hear the old one crying? After marrying Princess Miao Yin, he had completely forgotten about her, his first wife. She was really blind to have fallen in love with this man. Shen Pan saw through Zhao Tianlong's true colors and didn't have any more fantasies about Zhao Tianlong. Instead, she brought Zhao Yangyang back to her family. Since Zhao Tianlong was so heartless, then he could forget about having a son. In any case, He didn't care and could have another child with Princess Miaoyin. However, to Shun Pan, Zhao Yangyang was her only support. He was the most precious thing she had left. Old Zhao's family had experienced many things during this period of time, while Zhao Yun'er's family had a relatively dull life. The previous preparations were also proceeding according to plan. The tea trees on the mountain were planted well, and the pigsty was also built. Zhao Yun'er had her aunt and uncle come over to take care of it and began to raise the piglets. At first, they didn't invest in raising many piglets, only 30 of them. Because they were still in the exploration stage, there were many things that they weren't good at. Once her aunt and uncle had familiarized themselves with it, they would raise more piglets. One couldn't become fat in one bite. Some things had to be done slowly and couldn't be rushed. However, her aunt and uncle did their best to raise the piglets. Both of them were honest people and couldn't be lazy. They would do their best to do what they were told. In the blink of an eye, it was already late winter. The weather was getting colder. Fortunately, this year's winter was different from previous years. Because there was no shortage of money this winter, the family had bought a lot of warm blankets. In addition, they had built a big house, so it was not as leaky as the previous shabby thatched hut. There were also some heating tools. It was quite comfortable for the family to stay in the house. Basically, he did not go out during the day. The cold wind was howling outside, and if he went out for a while, he would be frozen into a popsicle. It was not as comfortable as staying in the house. Zhao Yun'er also gave the children thick jackets so that they would not catch a cold. However, Liang Jinxiao's belly was getting bigger and bigger. It was difficult for him to move around, especially in winter. Zhao Yun'er was very worried that Liang Jinxiao would accidentally slip on the icy ground when he went out. Therefore, if she could not let Liang Jinxiao go out, she would try her best not to let Liang Jinxiao go out. One day, in late winter, snowflakes suddenly floated down. This was the first time Zhao Yun'er saw snow in this era. White snowflakes covered the world. Especially in ancient times, after being covered with a layer of snow, it was extraordinarily beautiful. It snowed heavily for several days and nights. Fortunately, Zhao Yun'er dug a cellar before winter and stored vegetables. Even if they couldn't walk outside, the food prepared at home was enough. Chapter 2433. The family nestled in the house in the middle of winter, and it seemed even more cozy. After a few days of heavy snow, the snow finally stopped. The entire Shu'eilan village was wrapped in a layer of silver, and it was indescribably beautiful. Zhao Yun only remembered seeing such a scene when she was very young. After she went to school and worked in the city, she hadn't seen such a beautiful snow scene. Walking outside, his feet made crunching sounds as they landed on the snowy ground. However, the snow was very deep and it reached her knees. If Daodu walked into the snow, half of his body would probably be covered in the snow. However, after being cooped up in the house for a few days, the children couldn't hold it in anymore. Children were noisy by nature, and they couldn't stay quiet for long. Zhao Yun'er couldn't stop them, and Zhao Tianfu directly took Daodu to roll in the snow. Zhao Yun'er looked at the scene and felt angry and helpless, so she simply let the two children play to their heart's content. If she stopped them, the two children would probably throw tantrums at her. Zhao Tianfu and Daodu started a snowball fight in the snow. However, Daodu was shorter, and he was at a disadvantage compared to Zhao Tianfu. Sis, yes. Sis, come play with us. Zhao Tianfu smiled and greeted her. Even the adults in the house couldn't help but come out of the house to join in the fun when they saw the children playing. After staying at home for so many days, the children are really bored. It's good to come out and play. Yeah, it won't be cold if they run more. They have enough clothes on, so it shouldn't be a problem. Zhao Yun'er picked up the shovel and smiled at the family. Why don't we build a snowman together? Okay. Mu Hin and Zhao Tianan couldn't hold back and were eager to try. Zhao Yun'er smiled and started to build a snowman according to the method of building a snowman in her memory. Zhao Tianfu and Daodu, who were originally messing around, stopped what they were doing and began to cooperate with Zhao Yun'er to pile up together. It didn't take long for a snowman to appear in front of them. Coincidentally, there were carrots at home. Zhao Yun'er stuck the carrot in the middle of the snowman's face, revealing the shape of its nose. Then he took out 2 pieces of black charcoal and stuck them on top to act as the eyes of the snowman. Soon, a snowman appeared in front of everyone. Mother, snowman, snowman. He really does look like a human. Daodu clapped excitedly. Zhao Yun'er lovingly stroked Daodu's head. Daodu saw Yangqin pile it up just now. Did you learn it? Yes, yes. Daodu nodded heavily in response. How about Daodu and little uncle make a few small ones? Okay. Daodu excitedly pulled Zhao Tianfu's hand, and the 2 children imitated Zhao Yun'er and piled up in the snow. Zhao Yun'er looked at Daodu's young and tender face. Through Daodu's appearance, she vaguely felt like she was looking at Mu Yinfeng. Mu Yinfeng had been gone for quite some time, and she didn't know when he would be back. Had he completed the tasks assigned to him by the imperial court? Previously, there were a lot of things that she was busy with, so she could divert her attention. Now that she had some free time, Zhao Yun'er wanted to know more about Mu Yinfeng's situation. Unfortunately, he was too far away and there was no way to contact him. Chapter 24:34. However, there was no need to think about it. The conditions of the frontier were probably harsh. It was definitely not easy for Mu Yinfeng to stay there. Zhao Yun'er did not wish for anything else. The only extravagant wish in her heart was that Mu Yinfeng would be able to return safely. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er was in a daze, Liang Jinxiao patted Zhao Yun'er's shoulder and asked, "Last Yun'er, what's wrong with you? Are you all right?" Zhao Yun'er pursed her lips and replied, "I'm fine. This snow has been falling for so many days. It's piled up in a thick layer. I wonder when it will melt." Liang Jinxiao lamented. "Let it melt slowly. It's fine if we don't go out and stay at home. It's more convenient to go out without such thick snow. Although we have a lot of things prepared at home, it's almost the new year. It'll be better if we go to Yang City to buy some things before the new year. We don't even have things like firecrackers at home." Zhao Yun'er nodded. She did not expect the new year to come so quickly. She did not have the habit of keeping a calendar. It had been more than half a year since she transmigrated to this era. In fact, she had experienced a lot in the past half a year. She had experienced more than 20 years in the 21st century, but she had not seen many things that made her feel the ups and downs of life. Basically, every day was more repetitive and dull. In the 21st century, she had been a leftover woman for 20 to 30 years. She did not expect God to let her find true love in ancient times. Perhaps everything had been predestined from the start. "Mother, there's no hurry. As long as the snow stops falling, the sun will melt in a few days. Don't the other people in our village need to buy these things too? It's the same for everyone. There's no need to rush." Liang Jinxiao smiled and replied, "Yes, there's no hurry. Take it slow. Anyway, there's no rush. If it doesn't work, let your father walk to Yang City. He can't buy those things back anyway." Okay. Sure enough, after a few days, the sky cleared up quite a bit. The snow on the ground slowly melted. It was already the 20th day of the 12th lunar month. Other than their family, everyone else in the village was preparing for the new year. Qian Jue came to visit early in the morning. She reminded her that if Zhao Yun'er's family went to Yang City to buy New Year's goods, they should bring her along. She also had to buy some things back. Zhao Yun'er rushed Xiao Mao when the roads were open. She called for Qian Zhuja and rushed to Yang City. Nowadays, old Zhao's family was not as lively as before. The first branch, Hui Chunhua, Zhao Baoshan, and Zhao Xinhui had all moved to Sun City. With the money that Zhao Tianlong had given him, he had bought a rather large house in Sun City. He had even specially invited the servants over to enjoy the rest of his life there. Now, only the second branch, the fourth branch, Zhao Tianhu, and Jinju lived in old Zhao's courtyard. However, it was because the others had moved away that old Zhao's family could still move out a few rooms. The fourth branch's children had also grown up. They could not always squeeze in one room with their parents. It would be very inconvenient. As for the first branch's good life, the other branches were only a little envious. They did not have any other thoughts. They were all honest people who lived their lives in a down-to-earth manner. They lived their lives well and did not think too much. Xiao Mao rushed halfway and bumped into Li Chuiying and Zhao Ping. The two of them looked like they were also going to Yang City. Chapter 2435. Li Chuiying and Zhao Ping stopped in their tracks when they heard Zhao Yun'er's voice. Li Chuiying smiled and replied, "Yun'er, it's you. Your uncle Zhao and I are going to Yang City to buy some New Year goods. It's going to be the New Year in a few days, so we have to buy now. Otherwise, we won't be able to buy anything on New Year's Eve. Why didn't you take the ox cart? It's such a long journey, isn't it?" Li Chuiying sighed. It's not that we don't want to spend a few copper coins on the ox cart, but we didn't get to ride it. When the snow finally melted and it was the end of the year, many people in the village took the ox cart to Yang City to buy things. When your uncle Zhao and I want to take the ox cart, there were no more seats. There were many people like us who didn't get to ride it. I thought that I might not be able to get on the ox cart tomorrow, so I decided to walk to Yang City and buy the things back. It'll be a peace of mind. When she heard Li Chuiying's words, Zhao Yun'er called out, "Ha! You're lucky to have met me. Hurry up and get on my donkey cart." Li Chuiying and Zhao Ping didn't reject her pretentiously. Instead, they smiled and thanked her. "Yun'er, thank you so much. It's okay, don't be so polite with me. It's on the way anyway." The few of them drove the donkey cart together. They chatted and laughed along the way and were very happy. When they arrived at Yang City, they bought some firecrackers and other things. Zhao Yun'er also bought a lot of chicken, duck, and fish. There were also melon seeds and peanuts. They could be bought to satisfy their family's cravings. It was the new year, so if there were guests, they had to prepare some food to serve them. After a while, Zhao Yun'er bought almost half of the cart's worth of things. Qian Zhonghu and Li Chuiying bought fewer things, but they still bought a lot. After they were done, the few of them went back to Shuilan village. On the way, Zhao Yun'er and Qian Zhonghu discussed gathering together for a New Year's Eve dinner on New Year's Eve. After all, the houses of the other branches of the family seemed too cold when they were separated for the new year. Especially Zhao and Shui. Zhao and Shui only brought Zhao Qianyu with him. It was too boring for the father and son to stay up for the new year together. They probably didn't even have the energy to eat. Zhao and Shui was just a man. How would he know how to prepare those dishes? Usually, it was fine, but when it came to festivals like the New Year, everyone's atmosphere would be too gloomy. Qian Red Date also liked the lively atmosphere, so she agreed with a smile. In fact, even if Zhao Yun didn't mention it, she was also prepared to invite Zhao Wenshui to have a reunion dinner together. Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Wentao could also get together and drink a few cups. Since Zhao Yun'er said so, the whole old Zhao's house would naturally be livelier. When they returned, they found that Zhao Baoshan had returned to the village. Qian Zhozha asked curiously, "Dad, it's almost the new year. Why are you back? Did you leave something behind?" Zhao Baoshan pursed his lips. "No, Dad. Then what's the reason? I wanted to come over for the new year." "Ah." Qian Zhozha's face was full of surprise. "Dad, isn't Sun City better? Mom, big brother, and sister-in-law are all there. Why are you back alone?" At this point, Zhao Baoshan's heart was filled with emotions. Although Sun City was good, there was good food and drinks every day, there was nothing to do, and the house was brighter and more spacious than in the countryside. However, at his age, he couldn't get used to it. He always felt uncomfortable staying in the countryside. Chapter 2436. It was almost a new year, so he was discussing with his old family and Hua Chunhua if he could come back for the new year. After all, most of old Zhao's family members were still in the village. It would be more lively when the family gathered together during the new year. However, none of them agreed with him and were unwilling to come back. They even said that he was old and loved to suffer. He had a good life, but he had to suffer. In a fit of anger, Zhao Baoshan could only come back alone and not drag the others with him. Zhao Baoshan smiled awkwardly in response to Qian Zhui's question and replied, "It's more lively at home. I want to come back and spend the new year with you." "Master, then let's spend the new year together. You can stay at my house for the next few days. You've moved all your things away, and you don't have a place to stay. Zhao Yun stood up and greeted him. Zhao Baoshan looked at Zhao Yun with some gratitude. Yun then I'll have to trouble you. It's fine. The corners of Zhao Baoshan's eyes were moist. He wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and followed Zhao Yun to the third branch. The last few days of the new year were busier, but they were all trivial matters. Soon, it was New Year's Eve. The whole family woke up early in the morning to prepare. First, they put up the couplets. The whole house was decorated in red. The couplets were all written by Zhao Yun in the past few days. Unlike in the 21st century, where couplets were basically bought, the couplets in ancient times were mostly cut out from red paper bought by the family and then written by themselves. Her handwriting was elegant and could be used as a gift. There were many rooms in the house, so it took an hour or two to put up the couplets. They busied themselves with miscellaneous tasks and made do with something to eat at noon. In the afternoon, Qian Jue came over to help. The whole family prepared the New Year's dinner together. It had to be said that the atmosphere during the New Year in ancient times was much better than it was now. Every family was looking forward to the arrival of this day. It was very lively, and the New Year's atmosphere was very lively. Unlike in the 21st century, Zhao Yun felt that the New Year's atmosphere in her previous life was getting worse year by year. Children were the happiest to celebrate the New Year. Early in the morning, they got up with the adults and played together nonstop. It got dark early in the winter. Old Zhao's family followed the rules here and worshipped their ancestors. When the sky got dark, the family gathered together and started to have their New Year's Eve dinner. There were a lot of people in the third branch, including Zhao Baoshan, the second branch, and the fourth branch, as well as Zhao Tianhu and Jinju. The table was full, and it seemed a little crowded. However, it was precisely because there were so many people that the atmosphere was lively. The whole family gathered together and started to eat. There were many men in the house, and they drank one cup after another, drinking happily. Laughter filled the dining table. Zhao Baoshan's face was full of smiles. It was obvious that he was in a good mood. At the end of the meal, it was time for the children's most anticipated event, which was to give out the New Year's money. There were many elders in the family, so the children received more red packets. Zhao Baoshan took out many red packets from his pocket and began to distribute them. First, he gave one to Daodu. Because Daodu was the youngest and was Zhao Baoshan's great-grandson, Tian also received one. Then he started to give out red packets from the second branch all the way to the fourth branch. The children laughed even more happily when they received the red packets. The other elders also gave out red packets one after another. Zhao Yun did not expect that Liang Jinxiao would prepare red packets for her, Zhao Tianan, and Mu Hin. Chapter 2437. Zhao Yun asked Liang Jinxiao. She was a little embarrassed to accept it. Liang Jinxiao smiled gently. Silly child, although you and Tianan are married, in mother's eyes, you are still mother's daughter. You and Tianan are both mother's children, so mother naturally has to give you some New Year's money. Zhao Yun was touched by Liang Jinxiao's words. Perhaps in the eyes of parents, children will always be children. No matter how big the children are, they will still be worried about them. Okay, mother, then I will accept it. Ha, good. Seeing Zhao Yun accept it, Liang Jinxiao's smile deepened. The children held the red packets and smiled happily. The adults sat at the table and chatted happily. The atmosphere seemed to be very harmonious. Such a warm scene was rare. After playing for a while, it was already late at night. However, there was still some time before midnight. The family prepared to stay up for the new year together. After midnight, they would go back to sleep for the auspicious new year. Knowing that the elders and children could not stand the cold, Zhao Yun took out the fire barrels. She added a lot of charcoal into the cooking for dinner. At this time, the fire barrels were really warm. Knowing that there were more people in the family, Zhao Yun especially ordered 2 more fire barrels. They were very big and could accommodate several people. Thus, the family huddled in the fire barrel and chatted while warming themselves. Unknowingly, time passed quickly. After midnight, Zhao Yunlong went to set off an opening cannon. Only then did the family slowly disperse and return to the house to rest. This new year was the most lively one that Zhao Yun had experienced in decades. She was in a very good mood. After New Year's Eve, the 12th lunar month was busy paying New Year's greetings and visiting relatives. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was already spring. Liang Jinxiao was about to give birth. During this period, Zhao Yun treated Liang Jinxiao with caution. She was afraid that Liang Jinxiao would accidentally hurt herself. Because Liang Jinxiao was an advanced pregnant woman, it was more dangerous for her to give birth. She had to be careful. If there was an accident, it could cause serious consequences. According to Liang Jinxiao's expected date of birth, Zhao Yun contacted a midwife early. Because it was difficult for advanced pregnant women to give birth, Zhao Yun especially found the most experienced midwife in Yang City. This midwife was in her 60s or 70s. She was quite nimble. In the entire Yang City, hundreds of thousands of people were delivered by her. Even the children of many wealthy families in Sun City were delivered by her. With her decades of experience in midwifery, she was able to handle any accidents during birth. When Liang Jinxiao was about to give birth, Zhao Pinger's due date was also around the same time. After leaving Zhao Yun's house, Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan bought a house in Yang City. Although Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan did not live a luxurious life in the restaurant in Yang City, they were definitely living a good life. They were better off than many small businessmen in Yang City. The two of them were very satisfied. They did not ask for fortune. They only wanted to live a stable and comfortable life for the rest of their lives. After Zhao Ping became good-looking, Qin Yuan's heart fell on Zhao Ping. The couple was still quite loving. People could not help but sigh. They did not expect Zhao Ping to live a happy life in the end. Chapter 24:38. What? Qin Yuan rushed to Zhao Ping when he heard that. Ping, you're about to give birth? Zhao Ping nodded heavily. She gritted her teeth, and a pained expression appeared on her face. My stomach hurts so much. Husband, I think I'm about to give birth. Qin Yuan was a man, and he knew nothing about childbirth. He was very anxious at this moment. What should I do? Ping, how am I going to give birth? What should I do now? Qin Yuan had an anxious look on his face as he immediately panicked. Zhao Ping endured the pain in her stomach and grabbed Qin Yuan's hand. With some difficulty, she said to Qin Yuan, Husband, go and call for her. Mother has given birth before, so she'll definitely know. Qin Yuan patted his head and responded, Yes. I should call for Mother. She'll definitely know. He was just too anxious. The more anxious he was, the more confused he became. He didn't know what to do. Qin Yuan held Zhao Ping's hand and said gently, Pinger, bear with it for a while. I'll go and call for Mother now. Qin Yuan ran into the courtyard and shouted a few times. When he heard that Zhao Ping was about to give birth, Mu Chunfeng hurriedly said, Yuan, hurry and call for the midwife. Ask her to come and deliver the baby. Midwife? Mother, where should I call for the midwife? Let's go out and turn right. There's an alley a short distance ahead. The midwife lives in the second house. Go and call for her. She's the most experienced midwife in our Sun City. Mother has talked to her before. She'll deliver Ping's baby. When Qin Yuan heard this, he hurriedly responded and eagerly rushed out of the house. Unfortunately, according to Mu Chunfeng, the midwife was not at home when he arrived at his in-law's house. The high-yielding woman's eldest daughter-in-law said to the Qin Yuan, My mother-in-law was taken away by someone from Shuilan village to deliver a baby. She's not at home now. You're too late. Qin Yuan was dumbfounded. What? Is the high-yield woman not here? This husband, I'm really sorry. Why don't you look for other midwives? There are a few in Yang City. The high-producing midwife's eldest daughter-in-law replied apologetically. Usually, it was rare for two babies to bump into each other. Today was really a coincidence. There was no other way. There was only one person. He couldn't possibly split it into two halves, right? First come, first served. Since they had already been taken away, there was nothing they could do. Qin Yuan came back from the high-yielding woman's house, feeling a little discouraged. He hurriedly ran to Mu Chunfang and asked, "Mother, what should we do? The high-yielding woman is not here. She was called to deliver the baby." "What?" Mu Chunfang frowned. She didn't expect such an accident to happen. At this moment, Zhao Ping was lying on the bed, clutching her stomach as she complained. It hurts so much. Mother, husband, what should I do?" Because of the pain, Zhao Ping-er's forehead was covered in a thin layer of sweat. Qin Yuan's heart ached when he saw this. He held Zhao Ping-er's hand and said, "Ping-er, hang in there. Husband will think of something. You'll be fine." Mu Chunfang also comforted her. "Ping-er, don't worry. It's normal for your stomach to hurt when you're giving birth. Mother will ask Yuan-er to find another midwife for you. Once the midwife is here, you'll be fine." Zhao Ping-er was family Qin's flesh and blood. Naturally, Mu Chunfang valued her very much. Chapter 2439. After Qin Yuan rushed out and ran halfway, he didn't expect to run into Zhao Xinhui. Zhao Xinhui had been recuperating for a while, and her injuries had slowly healed. Now, she could get out of bed and walk around. Because it was really boring to stay at home, she went out to stroll around the streets to see if there was anything she liked or wanted to buy back. She didn't expect to see Qin Yuan's familiar voice. Ever since that incident, the two of them had never contacted each other again. Qin Yuan was disappointed in Zhao Xinhui, so he didn't want to miss Zhao Xinhui. He didn't want to live a good life with Zhao Ping-er. However, Zhao Xinhui couldn't help but miss Qin Yuan because it was too boring to be alone. Among all the men she had met, Qin Yuan was definitely the one who treated her the best. He was also the one who was the most handsome. Unconsciously, she had developed feelings for Qin Yuan. Therefore, she missed Qin Yuan from time to time. Now, she realized that she wasn't so happy after she became rich. Instead, she wanted to find a man who loved her and treated her well. Seeing Qin Yuan's familiar back, Zhao Xinhui couldn't hold back the joy and excitement in her heart. She hurriedly ran in the direction of Qin Yuan and blocked Qin Yuan's path. "Qin Yuan!" Zhao Xinhui shouted happily. She smiled at Qin Yuan. She touched her hair subconsciously and paid attention to her appearance. She was dressed well today. She was pretty and charming. Qin Yuan would definitely like her. Zhao Xinhui knew that Qin Yuan used to like her very much. Even if they were estranged because of that incident, as long as she was willing to apologize, Qin Yuan would definitely forgive her. Then, she could be with Qin Yuan again. When Qin Yuan saw Zhao Xinhui, he was slightly stunned. After that, his face turned cold and his attitude became distant. "What's the matter?" Qin Yuan asked faintly. Zhao Xinhui's heart sank. Although he was a little sad because of Qin Yuan's cold attitude towards him, he still smiled and replied, "Qin Yuan, can I look for you if there's nothing important? I don't have time to accompany you," Qin Yuan said as he prepared to leave. Zhao Xinhui was anxious. He immediately grabbed Qin Yuan's hand and said to Qin Yuan, "Don't go? Do you hate me that much? I haven't even said a few words to you, and you're leaving. I know that what happened before was indeed my fault. I shouldn't have pushed all the blame onto you. But Qin Yuan, you know that I'm just a woman. If I take all the responsibility, I'll be punished even more severely. Back then, I almost lost my life when I was punished like that. If this was more serious, I might really die. I wouldn't be standing in front of you now. Don't you love me very much? I believe that you're willing to take more punishment for me, right? Qin Yuan, actually, I like you too. Don't be angry with me. Let's get along like before, okay?" Qin Yuan only found Zhao Xinhui's words laughable. Even at this time, Zhao Xinhui was still the same. In their relationship, Zhao Xinhui always expected him to be the one giving. In his relationship with Zhao Ping always took the initiative to give. Between the two women, it was obvious who treated him better and who loved him more. Chapter 2440. Qin Yuan removed Zhao Xinhui's hand from his arm. He sneered at Zhao Xinhui and said, "You still want me to forgive you for what you did to me back then? Fine, I've forgiven you. But Zhao Xinhui, we can never go back to how we were before. I don't hate you, and I don't blame you. I can only say that our fate has come to an end. Zhao Xinhui looked at Qin Yuan in disbelief. She widened her eyes and asked in a trembling voice, Qin Yuan, didn't you love me very much in the past? Have you forgotten what you said in the past? Or did you go back on your words? Why are you going back on your words so soon? Qin Yuan chuckled and mocked himself sarcastically. Yes, I used to like you very much in the past, but now I know that it's better to find a woman who loves me. Zhao Xinhui shook her head and refused to admit it in her heart. Qin Yuan, I love you very much too. Let's not be like this, okay? Let's be like before. I promise I'll treat you very well and love you very much. Zhao Xinhui suddenly couldn't bear to leave Qin Yuan. Perhaps she couldn't accept that the man who had treated her so well in the past had suddenly become cold to her, so she wanted to leave him. Qin Yuan waved his hand and refused coldly. There's no need, Zhao Xinhui. I think Pinger is quite good. I just want to spend the rest of my life with Pinger. Please don't drag me and waste my time. I'm going to find a midwife for Pinger now. Pinger and I are going to have a baby soon. Qin Yuan immediately turned and left, not giving Zhao Xinhui a chance to ask him to stay. Looking at Qin Yuan's receding figure, Zhao Xinhui knew in her heart that it was impossible for her and Qin Yuan in this life. His attitude had already shown his determination. What else could she do? Qin Yuan's departure was like losing something very important to her. If she was given another chance to choose, perhaps she would choose to cherish it. She would not have pushed all the responsibility to Qin Yuan and caused an irreparable crack in their relationship. Perhaps from now on, she would never be able to find a man who was so silly, who didn't care about anything, who treated her well and loved her wholeheartedly. Humans were like this. Most of the time, they would only know regret after losing something, and they would never cherish it when they had it. At this moment, Zhao Xinhui was extremely envious of Zhao Pinger. Zhao Ping now had Qin Yuan's wholehearted support. Unfortunately, she was the one who caused all of this. If she hadn't pushed Qin Yuan away, Qin Yuan wouldn't have gone to Zhao Pinger's side. There was no medicine for regret in this world. A missed opportunity was a missed opportunity. Zhao Xinhui stood on the street with a melancholy expression. When she thought about it, she couldn't help but feel very sad. She suddenly squatted on the ground and began to cry bitterly. Qin Yuan followed the address Mu Chunfang gave him and quickly found a midwife. Fortunately, this midwife was at home. She quickly followed Qin Yuan back and delivered Zhao Pinger's baby. It wasn't easy for a woman to give birth. Zhao Ping was in pain in the house for half a day, but she still hadn't given birth. Qin Yuan couldn't help but feel very anxious. What if Zhao Ping had a difficult birth? He didn't want to lose Zhao Ping, nor did he want to lose his child. He just wanted his wife and child to be safe. Chapter 2441. Qin Yuan nodded, but he was still worried about Zhao Ping. Mu Chunfang patted Qin Yuan's shoulder and comforted him. Listen to the midwife. She has experience in delivering babies. If she says it'll be fine, then it'll be fine. When I gave birth to your brother, it was difficult for me to give birth to the first child. It was easier when I gave birth to you. Don't worry. All women have to suffer when they give birth. Yuan, it's unlucky for a woman to give birth in the delivery room. You better go out now. Don't stay in the room. Mu Chunfang was afraid that Qin Yuan would be tainted with bad luck, so he wanted to let Qin Yuan go out first. Qin Yuan shook his head, unwilling to do so. Mom, I want to stay by Pinger's side. Don't let me go out, okay? Pinger needs me now. Seeing Zhao Pinger's face filled with pain, Qin Yuan's heart ached endlessly. Mu Chunfang sighed and did not force Qin Yuan. It was not easy for a woman to give birth. When she gave birth, she would be very happy if Qin Dahai was by her side. The midwife continued to help Zhao Ping deliver the baby. Zhao Ping, who was in so much pain that she grimaced. Fortunately, Qin Yuan was by her side, so she could grit her teeth and bear with it. For her and Qin Yuan's child, she had to work hard and give birth to him. This was the fruit of their love. After a few hours in the hands of the midwife, Zhao Ping finally gave birth to the child. It's out, it's out. Put in more effort. Put in more effort. Bear with it, and it'll be over. Hearing the midwife's instructions, Zhao Ping'er took a deep breath and used the last of her strength to pull. The thing in her stomach suddenly separated from her body. Then, she heard the sound of a baby crying. The midwife hugged the baby and said with a smile, "Congratulations! It's a boy." Upon hearing that it was a boy, Mu Chunfang was extremely excited. He hurried over to the midwife and said, "Come, let me take a look at my eldest grandson." "Okay." The midwife handed the child to Mu Chunfang. Looking at his grandson in his arms, Mu Chunfang's face was full of smiles. She had been looking forward to having a grandson. God was kind to her, and her wish had really come true. From now on, their family Qin would have an heir. Newborn babies were wrinkled and didn't look that good. However, from her eldest grandson's facial features, she could tell that he took after Qin Yuan. When he grows up, he will definitely be a handsome boy. Mu Chunfang could not hold back the joy in his heart. He eagerly prepared to report the good news to Qin Dahai. Qin Dahai was a man, but he was her father-in-law, so he couldn't enter the delivery room when Zhao Ping'er was giving birth. He could only wait outside alone. This was the family Qin's first grandson. Qin Dahai anxiously waited outside, wanting to know what was going on in the delivery room. After hearing the child's cries, Qin Dahai became even more excited. The adults were fine, and the child was born. He just didn't know whether the child was a boy or a girl. Qin Dahai hoped to have a grandson. Everyone in the countryside wanted a grandson. Seeing that Mu Chunfang was about to carry the child out, Qin Yuan hurriedly stopped her. "Mother, why are you carrying the child out?" Mu Chunfang laughed and said, "Yuan, I'm going to carry the child out for your father to see. I'm going to let him see his eldest grandson." Qin Yuan pursed his lips and said calmly, "Mother, Ping'er hasn't seen it yet. You should let Ping'er see it first, then carry it out for father." Chapter 2442. Mu Chunfang patted himself on the head and replied with a chuckle, I forgot. Mother was too happy for a moment and forgot about this matter. As parents, I have to take a look at the child after he's born." As he said that, he carried the child in front of Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping'er. He chuckled and said to Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping'er, "Come, take a look at how obedient this child is. He looks so delicate and pretty. He'll definitely be as good-looking as Yuan in the future." Zhao Ping'er was very tired and sleepy at this moment. She wanted to sleep, but when she saw her child, she suddenly had the strength to do so. She struggled to open her eyes and took a look at her newborn son. Originally, when she heard Mu Chunfang's words, she thought that the child would be very good-looking. Who knew that she would see a wrinkled and ugly baby? Zhao Ping'er was so frightened that she hurriedly said, "Why is this child so ugly? He's really too ugly. Does he take after me? Sigh, what should I do? Won't the child be laughed at when he grows up in the future?" Because of her appearance, Zhao Ping'er had lived for so many years and had been teased by many people, so she knew how it felt. Previously, when she was pregnant, she had been worried that the child would take after her appearance and be extremely ugly. Who knew that her worry would come true? She could not tell who this child took after, but he was indeed very ugly. Looking at this ugly baby, Zhao Ping'er did not want to admit that she had given birth to him. She even felt sorry for Qin Yuan for giving birth to such an ugly son. Qin Yuan also took a look at the baby and muttered, "Why is this child so ugly, wrinkled like this?" When Qin Yuan said that, Zhao Ping'er could not help but cry sadly. Qin Yuan realized that he had said something wrong and hurriedly comforted Zhao Ping. "It's okay, Ping'er. Even if he's a little ugly, he's still our child. We can't despise him." Zhao Ping'er sobbed and said, "Big brother Yuan, I don't despise him. I'm just thinking that he's so ugly. What should I do when he grows up in the future? With his looks, would he not be able to find a wife? Will you complain about me when you become sensible in the future? Sigh, it's all my fault for giving birth to him like this, wrinkled like an old man." Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping'er didn't have much experience. She saw that other people's babies were fair and tender, but her own baby was like this. Because children were ugly like that, When Mu Chunfang heard what Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan said, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He quickly explained, "What do you mean by ugly?" His facial features were obviously handsome, and he took after Yuan. Babies are always wrinkled like this when they're born. They'll be fine in a few days. After hearing Mu Chunfang's words, Zhao Ping stopped crying. Her eyes landed on Mu Chunfang, and she asked agitatedly, "Mother, is what you said true?" "Of course it's true. Why would Mother lie to you? If you don't believe me, you can ask the midwife. She has delivered many babies and is more experienced than me." Zhao Ping, gaze landed on the midwife at the side. The midwife smiled and replied, "What your mother said is true. Babies are all the same when they're born. They're all wrinkled, and only a few are fair and tender. They'll slowly recover after a few days. It's normal for you two to not have any experience as first-time parents." After hearing the midwife's words, Zhao Ping finally relaxed. Zhao Ping muttered, That's good. I thought he was born so ugly. Sigh, I was really scared to death." Chapter 2443. Zhao Ping smiled as well. "That's right, but it's normal that we don't have any experience as first-time parents. The next time we give birth to a child, we won't make such a joke." Qin Yuan held Zhao Ping's hand and said seriously, "Ping, thank you so much. You've worked hard this time and suffered so much, but you've given birth to a son for me. I'll remember this for the rest of my life." Zhao Ping shook her head. "Big brother Yuan, what nonsense are you talking about? This is our child, and it has something to do with me. I'm happy to give birth to him, and I don't think it's tough at all." MMM. Qin Yuan nodded his head vigorously and discussed with Zhao Ping happily. "Ping, I'll ask someone to send this good news to your parents later, and let them be happy too. After all, you're their biological daughter. Now that you've given them a grandson, they'll definitely be happy too." Zhao Ping thought for a while and nodded her head. Although she was no longer close to her maternal family, she still had to be on good terms with them. During this period of time, she had more or less figured it out. Humans only had a few decades to live, and there were some things that they shouldn't be too calculative about. She couldn't keep a tight relationship with her maternal family. After all, parents doted on their children the most in the world. Previously, she had done many things that made her maternal family worry. It was no wonder that they didn't like her. Now that she knew the reason behind it, she should slowly make up for it. Not to mention taking the initiative to curry favor with them. She had to do it on the surface. After Mu Chunfang took a look at the child for Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan, he carried the child out to take a look at Qin Dahai. Yuan father, that last Ping, gave birth to a grandson for us. What? Grandson? Yes. Qin Dahai clapped his hands excitedly. Aya, that's great. Come, old woman, quickly take a look at him and give me a hug. My eldest grandson. Okay. The family Qin was very happy because of the child. Qin Dahai even specially went to buy a bunch of firecrackers and set them off at the door. The crackling sounds of firecrackers celebrated their family Qin's joyous occasion. In Shuailan village, the third branch was also very busy. Liang Jinxiao suddenly had a stomachache, and she was about to give birth. Zhao Yin hurriedly went to Yang City and brought the high-producing mother over. At this time, high-producing grandma, Zhao Yin Feng Zhangxia, and Qian Hongzhao were all busy in the room of the third branch. Zhao Yunlong, Zhao Baoshan, Zhao Tianan, and a few other men were waiting outside. Although they were very anxious, they could only wait. There was no way to run to the delivery room to see what was going on. Liang Jinxiao, in the delivery in the room, Tietz as Zhao Wenhua frowned and paced back and forth in front of the door. He sighed and looked very anxious. Liang Jinxiao was almost 40 years old. It was very risky for a woman of her age to give birth to a child. If it weren't for Liang Jinxiao's unexpected pregnancy and him not having the heart to abort the child, he would have considered Liang Jinxiao's health and felt that it was better not to have a child, even though he was very happy to have one at such an old age. Now that he saw Liang Jinxiao struggling in the delivery room for a long time and still not giving birth, he felt very regretful. If he had known earlier, he would have insisted on not letting Liang Jinxiao give birth. Now, Liang Jinxiao was at risk of giving birth alone. If something happened to Liang Jinxiao, what would he do? What would the family do? Zhao Wenhua didn't even dare to think about it. Chapter 2444. When Zhao Baoshan saw Zhao Wenhua's worried expression, he patted Zhao Wenhua's shoulder and comforted him. Laosi, don't be too anxious. Yin Er's mother is a little older, so it's naturally not as easy as a younger woman's. However, with an experienced midwife, there shouldn't be any problems. Zhao Wenhua nodded. It was useless for him to worry now. He couldn't help at all. He could only hope that the midwife would be able to help and prevent any accidents from happening to Liang Jinxiao. The few women in the room looked at Liang Jinxiao with worry. Although it was a little torturous for women to give birth, it was still a little dangerous for Liang Jinxiao. Zhao Yun, Er's body was trembling now. She was afraid that something would happen to Liang Jinxiao. When Liang Jinxiao was pregnant, she was the one who encouraged Liang Jinxiao to have a child. After all, a child was a little life. They couldn't just abandon it casually. However, she didn't take into account that Liang Jinxiao was an advanced pregnant woman, and it was very dangerous for her to give birth. If anything happened, she might even lose her life. If Liang Jinxiao had a difficult birth this time, she would definitely feel guilty to death. The high-yielding midwife was relatively calmer. Over the years, she had delivered countless children and encountered many more dangerous situations. Liang Jinxiao's situation was actually not a big deal. Moreover, Liang Jinxiao's age was not very old in the high-yielding midwife's eyes. She had delivered many women in their 40s and 50s before, but didn't they still give birth to their children? In addition, Liang Jinxiao had given birth to a few children before. It wasn't like her first child, so it wouldn't be so difficult. The high-yielding midwife calmly handled Liang Jinxiao's situation. After another 1 or 2 hours, Liang Jinxiao finally gave birth. After giving birth, Liang Jinxiao was sweating profusely. Her lips were pale, and she was extremely weak. Because he had lost a lot of blood this time, his body was naturally very weak. Zhao Yun'er's tense nerves finally relaxed when she heard that the high-yielding mother had given birth to the child, and that Liang Jinxiao was fine. Matchmaker Gao smiled as she hugged the child. It's a little girl. Feng Zhangxia said, girls are good, girls are considerate. Third sister-in-law already has 2 boys. It's good to have a little girl. When Zhao Yun'er heard that it was a girl, she also liked it very much. Actually, to her, having a boy or a girl was the same. However, she was more partial to having a little sister. Zhao Yun'er was not in the mood to care about her younger sister. Instead, she walked up to Liang Jinxiao and asked Liang Jinxiao, Mother, how are you now? Are you okay? Liang Jinxiao shook his head. I'm fine. I'll be fine after a good sleep. The high-yielding mother hurriedly stopped him. You can sleep later. Your body is very weak now. Let the child cook something for you to eat first. After saying that, the high-yielding mother called out to Zhao Yun'er, Girl, go make a bowl of brown sugar chicken for your mother. Brown sugar nourishes the blood. She lost a lot of blood during childbirth this time, so we have to make something for her to eat. Okay. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly responded and ran out of the house to prepare food for Liang Jinxiao. The men waiting outside the house heard the baby's cries and smiled. Third brother, third sister-in-law is fine. You don't have to worry. Okay. Zhao Wenhua also nodded and smiled. He felt indescribably relaxed. Zhao Baoshan was a little curious. I wonder if it's a boy or a girl. Old Zhao's family knew that Zhao Baoshan had always liked boys. Zhao Wentao hurriedly said, Father, a boy or a girl is good. Chapter 2445. Zhao Wenhua chimed in, Right, Dad. I'm happy whether it's a boy or a girl. We already have a few boys at home. Don't ask for another boy now. Zhao Baoshan laughed heartily. Dad didn't mean that. I was just casually mentioning it. It's the same whether it's a boy or a girl. Our old Zhao family's daughters are all pretty good. If third daughter-in-law gives birth to another child like Yin'er, wouldn't that be our old Zhao family's good fortune? Zhao Wenhua felt a lot happier. He knew that the older generation only cared about their sons. Previously, when his family gave birth to a girl, his mother made a fuss for a long time. She was only happy when she gave birth to a boy. He thought that it would be the same now. After hearing Zhao Baoshan's words, Zhao Wenhua felt that his father's thoughts had become more enlightened. He was no longer as stubborn as before. It was like an old antique. The people in the house also came out to report the good news to the men outside. It's a girl. Oh, that's great. Zhao Wenhua couldn't suppress the excitement in his heart and couldn't wait to take a look. Qianjie smiled as she carried the child out and placed her in Zhao Wenhua's arms. This child's facial features are a bit like third brother's, but she's also delicate and cute. When she grows up, she'll definitely be good-looking. Qianjie smiled and doted on the child. Zhao Wenhua stared at the little child in his arms, and a strange feeling emerged in his heart. He didn't expect to have a daughter at this age. This should be a gift from God to him. The other men also stared at the child and liked her very much. After looking at the child, Zhao Wenhua asked Qianjie, fifth sister-in-law, how's your third sister-in-law? Is she all right? She's fine. Third sister-in-law is just a little weak. Yina has already gone to prepare brown sugar eggs for her. She should be fine after eating them. Third brother, don't worry. The midwife said that she's fine. There definitely won't be any problems. Yeah. Zhao Yunlong nodded after hearing Qian Zhuzhe's words. Then, he handed the child in his arms to the others and decided to go to the factory to check on Liang Jinxiao's situation. Zhao Yun'er had already prepared the brown sugar eggs and brought them into the house. Zhao Wenhua took the egg from Zhao Yun'er and said, Yun'er, get it to me. I'll feed it to your mother. All right. Zhao Wenhua brought the brown sugar eggs to Liang Jinxiao and said gently, Yun'er's mother, you've worked hard. Hurry up and eat something to nourish your body. You've lost a lot of blood this time, and your body has become much weaker. Looking at Liang Jinxiao's pale lips, Zhao Wenhua's heart ached. If he could, he really wanted to be the one to suffer. If Liang Jinxiao did not have to suffer so much, then she would not have to suffer so much. Liang Jinxiao shook her head and smiled. She said blissfully, I'm fine. Giving birth to a child is definitely a pain. It'll be fine once it's over. Didn't you already give birth to a few children before? This is not your first time. Look at how nervous you are. Zhao Wenhua replied with a straight face. Yun'er's mother, you're wrong. You're different this time. It was easier to give birth when you were younger. Now that you're older, how can it be so easy to give birth? You have to be careful. Liang Jinxiao did not refute. She knew that Zhao Wenhua was concerned about her. Chapter 2446. Yes. Yun'er's mother, come and eat something. You can have a good rest after eating. As Zhao Wenhua spoke, he blew on the brown sugar water. When it wasn't so hot, he brought it to Liang Jinxiao's mouth. Liang Jinxiao drank the brown sugar egg that Zhao Wenhua fed her with a blissful and sweet expression. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but feel a little envious when she saw the loving appearance of her parents. Perhaps the best love was to hold someone's hand and grow old together. Even when they were old, they still supported each other and loved each other deeply. Because of the arrival of this little sister, Zhao Yun'er's family became even busier. Liang Jinxiao had to do a month of confinement, so the task of taking care of the children fell to the other members of the family. There were many children at home, so Zhao Yun naturally couldn't handle it alone. Now that it was spring, it was slowly entering the busy season of farming. They had to go to the paddy fields to sow rice and plant seedlings. Zhao Wenhua and Zhao Tianin had to work in the paddy fields, leaving only the women at home. Fortunately, Mu Hin and Qian Zhuzhao came over from time to time to help Liang Jinxiao survive the confinement period. During the confinement period, Liang Jinxiao's meals were all prepared by Zhao Yun'er. With Zhao Yun'er's nutrition, Liang Jinxiao's meals were very good and she had plenty of milk. After drinking milk for a month, Zhao Yun'er's little sister became white and chubby, like a porcelain doll. This child was just like Tian Tian. They loved to smile, and everyone loved them. It was a good choice for such a small child to accompany Tian Tian in the future. After having a few more children at home, although life was a little busier, it also added a lot of joy. Zhao Yun also gained some experience in taking care of children. This was probably something she didn't even dare to think about in her previous life. One day, she could be a full-time housewife. In the past, she was repulsed, but now, she felt that this kind of life was a different kind of happiness. After spring, the weather was much warmer, and they didn't need to wear so many clothes anymore. It was much more convenient for them to move around. The pigs that Zhao Yun'er asked her aunt and uncle to raise had grown big enough and could be sold. Some of the sows even gave birth to many piglets. A sow giving birth to piglets was different from giving birth to children. She could give birth to 10 to 20 piglets at once. There were dozens of pigs in the previous batch, and each pig weighed 2 to 300 caddies. That would be worth 2 to 3 taels of silver. A few dozen pigs would be worth 1 to 200 taels of silver. Therefore, in just a few months, after deducting the cost of feeding the pigs, the net profit alone was about 100 taels of silver. That amount of money was unimaginable for a country bumpkin. Ordinary farmers might not even be able to save a few taels of silver in a year. Moreover, Zhao Yun'er's pigsty was still in its early stages, so there weren't many pigs. Once he gained experience in raising them, he would naturally not just raise a few dozen this time. Later on, he would increase the number of pigs raised. Naturally, he would earn more money in a year. In addition, because the pigs raised could give birth to piglets, he didn't have to buy piglets from other places like the first batch. He kept some of the piglets for himself, and the rest were sold to other families who wanted to raise pigs. A piglet could be sold for a few hundred copper coins. This profit was constantly increasing. In the long run, he could indeed earn a lot of money. With the income, Zhao Yun'er gave his aunt and uncle a lot of money according to the previous agreement. Chapter 2447. However, seeing that raising pigs could bring in so much profit and money, Zhao Yun'er's aunt and uncle felt that it was much better than farming. Although it was a bit tiring, there was always more to look forward to. Earning so much money could make the family's life better and better. They only hoped that their children would not have to suffer and could eat and drink their fill. In the following time, Liang Jinyu and her husband worked even harder to raise pigs. Because of the previous accumulation of experience, after this batch of pigs was sold, they raised 100 or 200 pigs at once. Every day, they got up early to take care of it and went to the mountains to cut grass for the pigs to eat. They could save a lot of food and save even more costs. On the other hand, the tea trees planted by Mulan and Zhu Eru were also raised very well. After the beginning of spring, they could pick new tea leaves. Picking tea leaves was more troublesome. Zhao Yun'er especially hired some reliable women from the village. These people were usually not busy with housework and could take time out. Working in the village was not as tiring as the men's work. The women could handle it. Every day, Zhao Yun, it gave him a good salary. Many women in the village were willing to come and help Zhao Yun'er's family pick tea leaves. In the past, women could not earn money at home and had to rely on men for everything. Naturally, their status at home was very low. Women could also earn money and work, which could bring more income to the family. Their status at home would also be relatively higher. Zhao Yun sent the newly picked tea leaves to the palace at a very high price. On top of that, she received a large amount of money. Her life was on the right track and was developing in a better and better direction. During this period of busyness, Zhao Yun temporarily put down her thoughts of Mu Lianfeng. However, after it was almost summer, she had a lot of free time. There was not so much work to do every day. Zhao Yun'er could not help but think about Mu Lianfeng's situation. This time, Mu Lianfeng had been away for a long time, almost half a year. There was no sign of him coming back. She did not know when it would end. However, Zhao Yun received several letters from Mu Lianfeng reporting that he was safe. Finally, in the middle of summer, when the weather was hot, Mu Lianfeng came back. Zhao Yun'er was boiling mung bean soup in the kitchen. She wanted to make some iced mung bean soup for her family to drink and relieve the summer heat. Dowdu took Tian Tian to play in the yard, and they were very happy. Tian Tian was a smart child. She had learned how to walk before she was even a year old. Although his steps were somewhat unsteady, he was able to stabilize himself and prevent himself from falling. Tian Tian walked back and forth in the courtyard, laughing nonstop. When Zhao Yuner saw this, she hurriedly said to Dowdu, "Dowdu, keep an eye on the little girl and tell her to slow down." "Yes, mother, Dowdu knows." Dowdu smiled. After a year, Dowdu had grown a lot taller. When he smiled, he had the demeanor of a handsome young man. As an older brother, Dowdu could be said to be very competent. He took good care of Tian Tian. "Little sister Tian Tian, slow down. Don't fall." Dowdu also reminded Tian Tian in a somewhat childish voice. "Yes, yes." A soft voice responded. Tian Tian, who had just slowed down, suddenly picked up her pace again. She ran towards the direction of the courtyard, shouting as she ran, "Father! Father!" Dowdu also looked toward the direction of the courtyard. When he saw Mu Yinfeng's familiar figure on horseback and rushing towards them, his eyes immediately became wet. Chapter 2448. As his father, Dowdu idolized Mu Yinfeng even more. In the days after Mu Yinfeng left, Dowdu missed Mu Yinfeng as much as Zhao Yun. However, Dowdu knew that Mu Yinfeng had no choice but to leave. No matter how much he missed his father, he could only quietly wait for his father to return. How could Dowdu not be excited now that the moon and the stars that he had been looking forward to finally came back? Similar to Tian Tian's reaction, Dowdu hurriedly ran out of the courtyard, shouting as he ran, "Father, father!" When they reached the courtyard, Mu Yinfeng immediately jumped off his horse and hugged Dowdu and Tian Tian. During his time at the frontier fortress, he missed his wife and children every day and night, and he finally saw them today. Mu Yinfeng saw that Dowdu and Tian Tian had grown a lot taller than before he left. Especially Tian Tian, this child could even walk now. Sure enough, it was a pity that he could not accompany his children for a period of time and participate in their growth. However, after this time, he should be able to stay and accompany Zhao Yuner and the two children. Tian Tian immediately wrapped her arms around Mu Yinfeng's neck and kissed Mu Yinfeng's face. However, Mu Yinfeng's face was not as smooth as before. Now that he had a face full of stubble, Tian Tian's lips hurt when she kissed him. Mu Yinfeng smiled as he touched Tian Tian's face and asked, "How are you? Did the two of you miss your father?" Dowdu answered without hesitation, "Of course we did. Father, Dowdu missed you so much. Why are you only back now?" Mu Yinfeng replied somewhat apologetically, "It's father's fault for being late. However, father can't be away for so long in the future. I'll stay by Dowdu and Tian Tian's side in the future, okay?" Dowdu and Tian Tian both nodded heavily. "Okay." Huh. Mu Yinfeng could not help but kiss Tian Tian and Dowdu's cheeks. This feeling was so good. After staying at the frontier fortress for a period of time, Mu Yinfeng now cherished his life with the people he loved more and more. Sometimes a peaceful life was a kind of happiness. Being able to live with the people he loved and his children was more important than anything else. The so-called fame and fortune meant nothing at all. Zhao Yuner heard movement in the house and quickly came out of the kitchen. When she saw Mu Yinfeng's face, she was stunned. She thought she was seeing things. Mu Yinfeng was back? Was it really him? Or did she see it wrong? However, Mu Hin's voice pulled Zhao Yun back to reality. Mu Hin shouted happily, "Ah, brother-in-law, you're back." Mu Yinfeng got up and replied with a smile, "Yes, I'm back." After Mu Yinfeng finished speaking, he looked at Zhao Yuner again. Seeing Zhao Yuner's silly and tender look, he felt that she was very cute. "Yuner, I'm back." Mu Yinfeng's voice was a little choked and hoarse. After being stunned for a moment, Zhao Yuner was filled with joy and said happily to Mu Yinfeng, "You're back." "Yes, I'm back." She could not control her legs and walked towards Mu Yinfeng. Mu Yinfeng put down Dowdu and Tian Tian and walked in front of Zhao Yuner. He pulled her into his arms and greedily sucked on Zhao Yun's familiar scent. Chapter 2449. It wasn't until she felt the warmth from Mu Yinfeng's body that Zhao Yun realized that she wasn't dreaming. Mu Yinfeng was really back. This half a year passed quickly, but it was also slow. However, they managed to endure until Mu Yinfeng returned. In front of so many family members, Mu Yinfeng didn't feel embarrassed. He didn't want to let go of Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun's face was red. She could only let Mu Yinfeng hug her. She was too shy in front of her family members, especially in front of the two children. Mu Yinfeng hugged Zhao Yun for a long time before reluctantly letting go of her. Zhao Yun looked at Mu Yinfeng's face. Compared to before, Mu Yinfeng looked much older. His beard stubble was very long. He probably hadn't shaved it. It wasn't like when he was in the village. He shaved his beard often, so he looked much fairer. However, this Mu Yinfeng looked more mature. From Mu Yinfeng's face, one could tell that Mu Yinfeng didn't have an easy time in the frontier fortress over the past half a year. Mu Yinfeng must have suffered a lot in such a harsh environment. Did you win the battle? Yes. Mu Yinfeng nodded in response. This time, they finally returned victorious. They didn't waste too much time. If it was a normal battle, it wouldn't be impossible to delay it for a few years. Mu Yinfeng felt that he couldn't endure another day. He desperately wanted to see Zhao Yun and the two children. If he had to wait a few more years, he would probably break down. The reason why he won the battle so quickly this time was that he had a capable warrior, Yi Li. In addition to the work he did, the most important reason was that he had a capable warrior. It had to be said that Yi Li's martial arts were impressive. He was even more skilled in battle. This person was like a natural war god. He won every battle. Although he didn't have any experience, he was outstanding in this aspect. It was precisely because of Yi Li's contributions that they were able to quickly end the war and return in advance. Mu Yinfeng was glad that Yi Li had followed him to the frontier fortress. Zhao Yun smiled at Mu Yinfeng and said, "Are you tired? Quickly go inside and rest." "All right." Mu Yinfeng could not wait to enter the house. He missed the familiar feeling of home. Zhao Yun poured a bowl of herbal tea for Mu Yinfeng. Mu Yinfeng gulped it down. Looking at Mu Yinfeng's appearance, Zhao Yun knew that this guy must have rushed home without stopping. He must have eaten and slept in the open along the way. He couldn't wait to rush back and see them as soon as possible. She was very happy that Mu Yinfeng was able to stand by her side again. Zhao Yun only hoped that Mu Yinfeng would not leave in the future. She hoped that they would just stay here and live a good life. Mu Yinfeng wiped the sweat off his forehead and revealed a blissful smile. At this moment, Zhao Yun and her family came out of the house and greeted Mu Yinfeng. The atmosphere in the house was very joyous. Besides the good news of Mu Yinfeng's return, the other good news was that Mu Hin was pregnant. She was already 2 months pregnant. For the third branch, this meant that they had another member. This news was, of course, exciting. Speaking of which, Mu Hin's pregnancy was considered relatively late. Usually, a daughter-in-law would get pregnant within a few months. However, Mu Hin's stomach did not show any signs of pregnancy for more than half a year. Chapter 2450. Fortunately, Mu Hin was pregnant this time, which meant that Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin's bodies were fine. Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin were the ones who would be happy about this. The two of them had been looking forward to having a child for a long time, and now they finally had one. It seemed that lucky things happened one after another, and good things happened one after another. In the evening, because Mu Yinfeng came back, Zhao Yun especially prepared a big meal and prepared a lot of dishes. And they were all dishes that Mu Yinfeng liked. After dinner, the family sat together and chatted for a while. Then they washed up early and returned to the house. During this time, Zhao Yun took Daodu and Tian to sleep. Seeing that Mu Yinfeng came back, Daodu took the initiative to say, "Mother, Daodu and little sister Tian won't be sleeping with Mother tonight." Why is that?" Daodu smiled sweetly and replied, "Because Mother wants to sleep with Father. Daodu will sleep with little sister Tian and won't disturb mother and father. Zhao Yun was stunned by Daodu's words. Wasn't this child a little too precocious? Cough, cough. She was a little embarrassed. Mu Yinfeng listened from the side, and a smile appeared on his face. He gave Daodu an admiring look. So obedient and sensible. Hurry up and take little sister to sleep next door when we're there. Daodu nodded heavily and responded, Okay, father, I'll go now. With that, Daodu took Tiantian's little hand and walked to the room next door. The corner of Zhao Yun's mouth twitched. She glanced at Mu Yinfeng bitterly and hurriedly followed Daodu and Tiantian to the room next door. She had to make sure that the two children were sleeping on the bed before she could be at ease. Otherwise, she wouldn't be at ease. Zhao Yun carried the two children to bed and covered them with a quilt. Then, she returned to her room. At this time, Mu Yinfeng couldn't wait to get on the bed. He took off his coat and was only wearing a pair of underwear. That smooth and sexy chest was very muscular, and Zhao Yun couldn't help but have a nosebleed when she saw it. This kind of figure was the kind of figure that many women in the 21st century liked. This guy must be doing it on purpose. He purposely exposed it to seduce her. Zhao Yun swallowed her saliva and tiptoed to the bed. At this time, her heart beat. She was very nervous. Logically speaking, it wasn't her first time with Mu Yinfeng, so why was she so nervous? Perhaps it was because she hadn't been with Mu Yinfeng for too long. She just needed to familiarize herself with him over the next few days. As soon as Zhao Yun touched the bed, Mu Yinfeng couldn't wait to grab Zhao Yun. Then, he turned over and pressed Zhao Yun under his body. Zhao Yun faced Mu Yinfeng. She didn't have the strength to struggle and could only be pressed down by this guy. Mu Yinfeng's weight on her body was very heavy. She felt like she couldn't breathe. However, Mu Yinfeng didn't seem to care so much. He couldn't wait to take her body. His lips covered hers first. He tossed and turned, pried open her pearly white teeth, and entangled with her. Zhao Yun sank into Mu Yinfeng's kiss. She couldn't push him away and could only passively accept it. Mu Yinfeng's movements became more and more intense. After kissing enough, he slowly moved on to the next step. He put his hand on Zhao Yun's body and slowly unbuttoned her clothes. Zhao Yun trembled from Mu Yinfeng's touch. Her body felt a little numb. Chapter 2451. I missed you too. Zhao Yun replied in a soft voice. At this moment, her face was burning hot because of Mu Yinfeng's arousal. When Mo Yinfeng heard Zhao Yun's words, he was very satisfied. His hands continued to grope Zhao Yun's body. Because they had been separated for too long, Mu Yinfeng felt like he was going to explode from holding it in. Zhao Yun felt the same way. She felt like her body was like a piece of dead wood, desperately waiting for the nourishment of the rain. And Mu Yinfeng was her rain. Mu Yinfeng also couldn't hold back his hands. The two of them hugged each other tightly and carried out a blissful and joyful thing for the entire night. Zhao Yun was in a half-asleep state because of Mu Yinfeng's torment. She had to admit that this guy's stamina was really good. It was obviously not so tiring to rush back, but when they came back at night, he still did it for the entire night without feeling tired at all. If it were him, his body wouldn't be able to withstand it. When Zhao Yun woke up the next day, she had dark circles under her eyes and was in a sleepy state. Mu Yinfeng, on the other hand, seemed to be in a good state. The worst thing was that Mu Yinfeng actually planted a lot of strawberries on her neck. If they went out and were seen by others, they would know how intense the two of them were last night. Zhao Yun glared at Mu Yinfeng bitterly and warned him not to do such things again. She didn't know how to go out later. In order to cover up the marks on her neck, Zhao Yun had to wrap a scarf around her neck. But it was summer, and not only was it hot to wear a scarf, it also looked weird. Mu Yinfeng didn't stay at the third branch for long. The troops that went to the frontier had already returned. Mu Yinfeng had to go to the capital to report to the emperor in the next few days. He was supposed to go back with the troops, but he really couldn't wait to see Zhao Yun and their child, so he could only go back alone and leave the troops to Yili. After staying at Zhao Yun's house for a few days, it was about time to go to the capital. Mu Yanfeng took Zhao Yun with him to the capital. As Mu Yanfeng's wife, Zhao Yun naturally had to appear when Mu Yanfeng won the battle and received the honor of the imperial court. Thus, Zhao Yun and Mu Yanfeng spent another 2 days together and went to the capital. At this time, the troops had returned to the capital's capital city, was stationed outside the city walls. When Mu Yanfeng returned to the Jingdu city, he and Yi Li were praised by the emperor. Because of this victory, the emperor's power gained a bit of an advantage in the imperial court. The emperor was very happy and decided to reward Mu Yanfeng and Yi Li well. Because of Yi Li's outstanding performance, the emperor was even more certain of his talent. He wanted to promote Yi Li and let Yi Li be used by the country and serve the imperial court. This time, no one was happier than Annel. She didn't have a good time in the past half year, day and night. She hoped that Yi Li would be able to make contributions and return victorious. This way, her imperial brother could reward him, and she and Yi Li would have a chance to be together. If it wasn't for the fact that she was being watched closely and didn't have a chance to escape, Annel would have already escaped from the imperial palace and gone to the frontier to find Yi Li. Fortunately, after such a long time, she finally waited for Yi Li to come back. And Yi Li didn't disappoint her. He really came back victorious. Chapter 2452. As long as she had his royal brother's agreement, would she need to be afraid of not being able to obtain Yi Li's son-in-law? The emperor held a grand banquet, and basically all the important people in the court came to participate. The banquet was held in the royal palace. Seeing that the emperor was here for official business, the people in charge of the banquet did not dare slack off. They did their best to arrange it and make the banquet seem lively. Very soon, it was the day of the banquet. The second day Zhao Yun arrived in the capital, there were people who arranged for her and Mu Yanfeng's residences. She wanted to see Yi Li, but in the end she was brought to the banquet. This was Zhao Yun's first time seeing the ancient royal palace. In the 21st century, she had been to Beijing and seen the Forbidden City, so she knew how luxurious the royal palace was. When she saw the great Zhou country's royal palace, because there were many people living in the palace, it was much more lively. Zhao Yun curiously looked around the entire way, admiring the architecture of this era. This banquet was the most grand and luxurious one Zhao Yun had ever attended since she came to this era. The eunuchs and maids in the palace walked in an orderly manner with their heads down, trembling in fear. This allowed Zhao Yun to feel the imperial power of this era. For a small person like her, she was too small in front of the imperial power. It was a good thing she had Mu Yanfeng. With Mu Yanfeng, at least her life wouldn't be too oppressed, and there wouldn't be too many people bullying her. Zhao Yun followed Mu Yanfeng to the banquet. As the hero of this time, Mu Yanfeng's seat was arranged to the front, to the emperor's left. As soon as Zhao Yun and Mu Yanfeng appeared, the officials who had already come to attend the banquet and their family members all looked at them. This scene was a bit oppressive. However, Zhao Yun had seen a lot in her previous life. In order not to embarrass Mu Yanfeng and let others think that she was just a country bumpkin, Zhao Yun walked with her back straight and did not have the slightest bit of humility. The officials and family members of the court had heard before that the present Shitsi Fei was just an ordinary village woman. Originally, as a matter of gossip, they were curious as to how Zhao Yun, a country bumpkin with no status, managed to get close to Shitsi Yi and even receive the emperor's personal bestowal of marriage. Now that they saw Zhao Yun in person, they felt that Zhao Yun was not as bad as they thought. Zhao Yun didn't have the rustic aura of a country bumpkin. He straightened his back and walked with an air of nobility. Although she wasn't a beauty that could cause the downfall of the city, she was still pretty. Standing beside Mu Yanfeng, she did not feel that the two of them were too incompatible. As expected, one couldn't believe rumors. One had to see it with their own eyes to know. Zhao Yun and Mu Yanfeng walked together and sat down. Facing the gazes from all directions, Zhao Yun didn't know what to say. It seemed that everyone was curious about her, as the Shitsi Fei, being stared at by everyone, Zhao Yun'er sat upright and still. She didn't dare to slack off. She was afraid that if she did something wrong, she would be caught and talked about. Sitting opposite Zhao Yun'er and to the right of the emperor was Yi Li. After leaving for half a year, Zhao Yun'er only saw Yi Li today. Yi Li was the same as Mu Lianfeng. He seemed to have experienced the vicissitudes of life. His stubble was a bit long, and he looked more mature. His skin was also much darker and not as fair as before. However, many people liked this mature man's appearance. Chapter 2453. But Zhao Yun was not very happy about Yi Li's transformation. The reason why he became like this was because he must have suffered a lot when he was at the frontier. As if feeling Zhao Yun'er's gaze, Yi Li raised his head and met Zhao Yun'er's eyes. From a distance, the two of them looked at each other. Yi Li chuckled and greeted Zhao Yun. Yi Li had a straight face until he saw Zhao Yun'er, and then a smile appeared on his face. Although Yi Li looked very calm on the surface, his heart was already restless. After being at the frontier for so long, the only thing that supported him was Zhao Yun'er. He wanted to win the war as soon as possible so that he could come back earlier and see Zhao Yun earlier. At the same time, Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng could be reunited. Now that he saw Zhao Yun'er, the thoughts that had accumulated during this period of time were finally satisfied at this moment. Although he knew that it was impossible between him and Zhao Yun, he couldn't help but think of her in his heart. People were like this. Sometimes it was difficult to control their hearts. Even loving someone and not loving someone was not easy to control. Zhao Yun also nodded to Yi Li as a greeting. She was able to be magnanimous, so naturally, no one would think that she and Yi Li were flirting with each other or that there was an improper relationship. Mu Lianfeng sat down next to Zhao Yun'er, looked at Zhao Yun'er, and then looked at Yi Li. Although he knew that Yi Li also had Zhao Yun'er in his heart, Mu Lianfeng completely trusted Yi Li. This man's actions could be called a gentleman. He would never do something like poaching. Mu Lianfeng was very happy that there was someone like him who was unconditionally good to Zhao Yun'er. They sat at the table for a while, and soon after, the banquet officially began. This time, the reward banquet was very grand. Even the imperial family came out to participate. After a while, a eunuch shouted, "The emperor has arrived." He saw a bright yellow figure leading a group of people towards the banquet. There were two women standing on the emperor's left and right sides. Zhao Yun roughly guessed from the dress and a little understanding of the imperial family that the one standing on the emperor's left side was the current empress, and the one standing on the right side should be the powerful imperial concubine Hua. In addition, there was a crowd of concubines, palace maids, and eunuchs. And in the crowd, there was a person that Zhao Yun'er was very familiar with. That was Anil. But what made Zhao Yun'er feel strange was that Anil should not be a man. Why was Anil wearing a long dress with a golden buyao on her head? She was dressed like a girl. Looking at Anil's face, after wearing light makeup, her facial features became much softer and more beautiful. She could be considered a beauty. Zhao Yun'er frowned. She wondered if Anil was a woman dressed as a man. Zhao Yun felt a little stupid. A woman dressed as a man had lived in her house for so long. How could he not have noticed? At that time, she thought that Anil was a little effeminate. Now, she finally understood why she was effeminate. It was because she was a woman. How could she not be effeminate? After understanding the whole situation, besides being shocked, Zhao Yun'er also felt curious. What was a woman dressed as a man doing here? Chapter 2454. But now that she knew that Anil was a woman, it meant that there was something going on between her and Yi Li. Zhao Yun'er secretly fantasized about the two of them being together. She knew that Yi Li liked her, but there was only one of her, and she couldn't split herself into two. As for Yi Li, she only had feelings for him as a friend. She didn't have any romantic feelings for him. And for a man as good as Yi Li, Zhao Yun'er only hoped that he could find a good girl so that he wouldn't be alone for the rest of his life. Moreover, he would only be able to forget about the past after he started a new relationship. What Yili needed to do now was to find a good girl to be with. That way, he could slowly forget about her. Yili also saw Anil sitting next to the emperor. His reaction was the same as Zhao Yunner's. He first frowned, and a trace of confusion appeared in his eyes. Then his eyes darkened, as if he was thinking about something. As soon as Anil arrived, she looked everywhere for Yili. When she finally saw Yili, Anil's entire face was filled with joy. It wasn't easy for her to wait so long for Yili's triumphant return. If she waited any longer, she would probably get lovesick. Fortunately, she saw Yili at this time. Although Yili had changed a little before he left, Anil felt that Yili had become even more handsome. Actually, it didn't matter if Yili became handsome or ugly. As long as it was him, she would still like him. Yili met Anil's burning gaze and quickly looked away. He didn't dare to continue looking at Anil. Anil's heart instantly sank. Seeing Yili's reaction, it seemed like he couldn't be bothered to talk to her. Sigh. Why was it like this? Why was Yili ignoring her? It wasn't easy for her to wait for him to come back. Didn't he miss her at all? Anil thought that she had never been this upset, even when she had taken away her favorite food. However, when Yili ignored her, she felt as if there was a rock in her heart. She was extremely upset. Anil dejectedly followed the emperor to the seat that had been arranged for him. Because it was specially arranged, Anil and Yili sat closer to each other. Anil kept his eyes on Yili, but Yili never looked up. The more Anil thought about it, the more disappointed he felt, but there was nothing he could do. She couldn't possibly force Yili to look at her. Anil rested his chin on his hands and leaned on the table, looking depressed. She had specially dressed up today. She had chosen her favorite clothes and put on her favorite jewelry. She had thought that Yili would take a second look at her. Now it seemed like she had thought too much. For someone who didn't love her, it didn't matter how pretty she was. That person simply couldn't be bothered to look at her. Anil felt that she had thought too highly of herself. Perhaps she had been too confident. She thought that Yili might take a fancy to her if she dressed up as a woman. After the emperor finished his banquet, the Empress Dowager also arrived. The Empress Dowager and Anil sat together. Unlu tugged at the corner of the Empress Dowager's clothes and softly muttered to the Empress Dowager, "Imperial Mother, quickly look at that General Yi that Aken told you about." Imperial Brother often praises his talent. This time at the frontier fortress, his abilities were outstanding and his military exploits were illustrious. If it wasn't for him, we might not have been able to win the war or end the war so quickly. Chapter 2455. The Empress Dowager looked in the direction that Anil was pointing and saw Yili. Yili was indeed handsome and dignified. He was different from the other generals she had seen before. The famous generals in the imperial court were all strong and powerful men. They all looked rough and were definitely not as good-looking as Yili. In this way, Yili was indeed outstanding in both ability and appearance. No wonder Anil was head over heels for this man. It was because he was unwilling to get married and had been making a fuss with her. She had chosen many suitable husbands for him, but he had never looked at any of them. Yet, he was infatuated with this man. After seeing him, the Empress Dowager felt that Yili was talented and good-looking, but she still felt that he was not good enough for Anil. The dignified eldest princess of the imperial court should be married to a noble of the imperial court. Yili had no power or influence. He was nothing. If she married the princess to him, wouldn't it be too unfair? The Empress Dowager reprimanded Anil with a stern face. "Look at you. You're so useless. You're so agitated over a man. You're not reserved at all as a princess." Anil pursed her lips and replied coquettishly, "Imperial Mother, how am I not reserved? If you weren't reserved, I would have run over to him long ago. Why would I be sitting here so obediently?" When the Empress Dowager heard Anil's words, she glared at Anil. "You lass, will you only be happy if I die from anger? What nonsense are you spouting?" "Imperial Mother, I was just saying, I didn't really do it, Imperial Mother. You've seen this man. What do you think? Is it possible for me to marry him? Whoa, I really like him. Please grant my wish, Imperial Mother." Anil tugged at the Empress Dowager's sleeve coquettishly as she discussed with the Empress Dowager. The Empress Dowager's mouth twitched for a moment before she replied mildly, "All right, don't mention this now. Nothing has been said in stone yet. Look at you, lass. Do you still have any prospects? Which woman would throw herself at him like you? She can't wait to marry him." Anil was a little unconvinced. "Mother, what's the use of having a future? I was born as the eldest princess of our great Zhou country. Relying on myself, I can only be the eldest princess. What other positions can I climb up to? Moreover, as our great Zhou country's eldest princess, I'm marrying any man that isn't a loss. Since that's the case, marrying Yi Li, marrying the person I like isn't a bad idea. And Imperial Mother, you used to say that I'm getting older and wanted me to get married earlier. Now that I want to get married, you say that I can't wait to get married. Anyway, I'm in the wrong no matter what I do, right?" The corners of the Empress Dowager's mouth twitched, and she replied angrily, "You sure know how to talk back. Even Imperial Mother can't win against you. What I said is the truth." Imperial Mother naturally can't refute it. The Empress Dowager was helpless against Anil, but she still didn't approve of Yi Li in her heart. She couldn't bear to let her precious daughter marry someone without any power or influence. Who knew if she would be bullied after marrying him? Seeing that everyone had arrived, the banquet officially entered the main topic. Chapter 2456. To be able to receive the emperor's praise was naturally a supreme honor for the officials. However, Mu Yinfeng and Yi Li had no interest in the imperial court, so they didn't care about this so-called honor. However, as the officials who had contributed greatly this time, they couldn't refuse the emperor's special reward banquet. If they did, they would offend the emperor and bring unnecessary trouble to themselves. After a round of official speeches, the emperor gave out some specific rewards to the officials who had contributed greatly. Mu Yinfeng's title in the imperial court was raised by 2 ranks, and his annual salary was also increased by a lot. In addition, he was rewarded with a large amount of land, gold, silver, and jewelry. Whether it was in terms of official position or financial resources, the emperor gave out generous rewards. Other than rewarding Mu Yinfeng for his meritorious service at the frontier fortress, it was also a warning to the others in the imperial court that as long as they worked for him and were loyal to him, they would be rewarded handsomely. This was to win people's hearts. After all, the emperor was in a very awkward position in the imperial court. All the power was not concentrated in his hands. The relatives of those big families held a large portion of the power. In fact, this was the case for many dynasties. As a monarch, he had to rule the entire country and face intrigue every day. Although on the surface, he was in a high position and enjoyed endless honor, there were many risks behind the scenes. There was also a lot of sadness and helplessness. To be able to stand in this position for a long time and not be controlled by others, it was not easy. What the emperor wanted to do now was to slowly grasp the power in his hands. Only then would he be able to completely control some things. Otherwise, he would just be a puppet. Mu Yinfeng and Zhao Yin both attended the banquet and received the emperor's rewards. The next person to be rewarded was Yi Li. The emperor was not stingy with his rewards. He arranged for Yi Li to be a general with great power. If he could achieve this at such a young age, he would eventually be able to climb up the ranks and become a general. In addition, Yi Li also received some land and gold, silver, and jewelry as rewards. However, Yi Li attended the banquet. To everyone's surprise, he rejected all of the emperor's rewards in front of him. Everyone was shocked. At the same time, they felt that Yi Li was too daring. How could he refuse the emperor's reward? The emperor stared at Yi Li with his deep eyes. There was no expression on his face. No one could tell what the emperor was feeling at this time. However, judging from the emperor's aura, it seemed to reveal a hint of danger. Zhao Yin'er looked anxiously at Yi Li, then at the emperor. He didn't know how Yi Li could refuse the emperor's reward in front of so many officials. Could it be that he was not afraid of offending the emperor and possibly losing his life? The emperor raised his eyebrows and asked Yi Li, "Oh, I don't know why beloved official Yi rejected my reward." Yi Li respectfully bowed and said, "Replying to your majesty, this time this official went to the frontier fortress only because this official wanted to do his part. Although your majesty thinks that this official has made a great contribution, this official does not take this contribution to heart. In the future, this official only wants to be free and unfettered. This official does not have much interest in the matters of the imperial court. Thus, this official does not want to be rewarded with any official title. This official only wants to be an ordinary person and live an ordinary life." Chapter 2457. He didn't want to be involved in the matters of the imperial court. He didn't want to be involved in those complicated schemes and dark matters. The reason why he had achieved so much and performed so well. He just felt that there were some things he had to do, so he would do his best. Also, the earlier he finished the war at the frontier fortress, the earlier he could come back. Not only could he see Zhao Yun'er earlier, but he could also see Mu Lianfeng earlier. At the same time, he could let Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng reunite as soon as possible and live happily together as a family. For Yi Li, he felt that the happiest time in his life was when he lived with Zhao Yun'er's family. It was simple and happy. It wasn't a rich and powerful life, but it was very comfortable. After that period of time, Yi Li knew the life he wanted to pursue. Even if he didn't live with Zhao Yun'er's family in the future, he still wanted to buy a piece of land in Shui Lan village, build a house, and live a simple life. He didn't need to trouble Zhao Yun'er's family, but he could often see the people he wanted to see. Now that he accepted the emperor's reward, it meant that he would be involved in the life of the imperial court in the future. This was something he didn't want. In the eyes of others, this kind of decision was a bit foolish. Many people pursued fame and fortune their entire lives, but they still couldn't reach his current level. But he refused to accept the status and honor that was at his fingertips. The emperor's eyes deepened. After a few seconds of silence, he faintly opened his mouth and said, "But from the looks of it, isn't it too unfair for a talented person like beloved official Yi to only be an ordinary commoner? Zhen cherishes talent. Beloved official Yi is a talent that I want to keep by my side." The emperor's words meant that he wanted to force Yi Li to stay. He wasn't happy with Yi Li's refusal. Everyone present knew that if Yi Li refused again, the emperor might really get angry. At that time, it could cause a very serious consequence. It might even cause Yi Li to lose his life. Zhao Yun'er looked at Yi Li with a trace of worry in her eyes. Zhao Yun'er knew a little about Yi Li. He had a stubborn personality and wouldn't give up easily once he set his mind on something. Even in front of the emperor, he might not be willing to do what he didn't want to do under the emperor's pressure. Anil stared at Yi Li worriedly as he clutched the corner of his shirt. This fool, it's so good to accept a reward. Why does he have to be a commoner? If Yi Li didn't have any status, how could she marry him? Yi Li replied with an indifferent face. The emperor's appreciation for this minister is this minister's honor, but there are many talents in the great Zhou country, not just this minister. This subject thanks your majesty for your kindness, but I still want to live a normal life. I hope your majesty will grant my wish. After Yi Li finished speaking, everyone held their breaths, afraid that they would be greeted with the emperor's fury in the next second. The emperor's eyes darkened, and there was an unreadable expression on his face. The air was a bit heavy, and Zhao Yun'er's heart began to beat faster. She looked at Yi Li with worry before looking at the emperor. Mu Lianfeng suddenly stood up and said to the emperor, "Emperor, just grant General Yi his wish. Since he doesn't care about the court, there's no point in forcing him to stay. It's better to let him live the life he wants. After all, he is a hero of our great Zhou country this time. He has already made great contributions." Chapter 2458. How could he not be the same? However, his hereditary title meant that he could not be like Yi Li and completely escape from the matters of the imperial court. However, Yi Li had the opportunity to do so. As a friend, he naturally had to step forward and help him at this moment. The corners of the emperor's mouth slightly rose, and his smile became even more thought-provoking. Since that's the case, then we won't force you any further. All right, if beloved official Yi doesn't want to accept these things, then we won't force you. However, if beloved official Yi wants them one day, feel free to ask us. Today, we promise to reward you. We can take back the things we gave you at any time. Thank you, Your Majesty, Yili replied gratefully. Zhao Yun'er's hanging heart was finally put down. However, the emperor didn't get angry this time and actually agreed to Yi Li's request. This made Zhao Yun'er feel a bit surprised. Sometimes, things came too easily. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that there was something fishy going on. Forget it. She didn't want to think about it anymore. Once she thought about it carefully, Zhao Yun'er felt a headache coming on. Yi Li returned to his seat in satisfaction. However, Anna was stunned at this moment. Yi Li had rejected everything. Did that mean that there was no possibility between them? Sob, sob, sob. When she thought of this, Annel's heart ached. Annel's eyes were empty. She didn't even hear the Empress Dowager's shouts. The emperor continued to reward the other meritorious officials. Afterwards, the imperial palace arranged a program. They ate the delicacies of the imperial palace while watching these wonderful programs. It had to be said that the delicacies of the imperial palace were all very exquisite and delicious. Although the ancient songs and dances weren't as dynamic as the modern ones, they had a bit more flavor. When the banquet ended, it was already late at night. The people who came to participate in the banquet began to leave. Second cousin sister, Zhao Tianlong called out to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun raised her head and saw Zhao Tianlong. She knew that Zhao Tianlong was an official in the capital, but she never thought that Zhao Tianlong's position would be this high. He even had the honor of entering the palace to participate in this reward banquet. It was obvious that his eldest cousin brother was not an ordinary person. Since they were relatives, Zhao Yun was very polite to Zhao Tianlong. She smiled and replied, "Elder cousin brother, are you also here to attend this award banquet?" "That's right." Zhao Tianlong nodded his head in response. At this moment, Zhao Yun'er had discovered that there was a beautiful woman standing beside Zhao Tianlong. From the way she dressed and her temperament, it could be seen that this woman's background was not simple. It exuded a sense of nobility from the inside out. Seeing Zhao Yun'er looking at her, Princess Miao Yin smiled and nodded, greeting Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Tianlong stood at the side and introduced, "Yun'er, this is my elder cousin-in-law." Zhao Tianlong felt a little guilty as he introduced the two of them. As a member of old Zhao's family, Zhao Yun knew that his ex-wife was Shun Pan. Now that the person had suddenly changed, it was a little difficult to explain. Eldest cousin-in-law. Eldest cousin-in-law. Isn't she Pan-er's sister-in-law? Why did it suddenly change? Could it be that Pan-er's sister-in-law and eldest cousin-in-law divorced? Eldest cousin-in-law, did you marry another woman? Zhao Yun'er asked curiously. She deliberately asked this question to see what Zhao Tianlong would say. Previously, she was curious as to why Shan Pan would bring Yang Yang back to her maternal family. However, no one who liked the first branch was willing to talk about the reason. Now, it seemed that there was a lot of fishy going on. Chapter 2459. Zhao Yun'er chuckled. "It's fine, eldest cousin. If it's a long story, then take your time. There's no rush anyway." Zhao Tianlong pursed his lips and explained with an unsightly expression, "Pan-er, and I didn't divorce. I just married Miao Yin." As Zhao Tianlong spoke, he pointed at Princess Miao Yin and introduced her. "Your current eldest cousin-in-law is Princess Miao Yin. She has a noble status and was originally married to me. Naturally, I can't let her be a concubine. Thus, I discussed it with Pan-er. In the future, Miao Yin will be the main wife and Pan-er will be the concubine." Hearing Zhao Tianlong's words, Zhao Yun looked at Zhao Tianlong with disdain. Her eldest cousin brother was truly a chun shimmy. He could actually do such a thing. Although she didn't like Shun Pan, Zhao Tianlong's behavior made her loathe him even more. What kind of person was this? He had abandoned his first wife after he had made a name for himself. It was said that a wife who had gone through hardships should not be abandoned. No matter what, Shun Pan had married Zhao Tianlong when he was poor and had nothing. For Zhao Tianlong, she was willing to come to the countryside and suffer. Shun Pan's family wasn't bad. A girl like her could definitely marry into a good family. She wouldn't have to come to old Zhao's house and suffer grievances for so many years. However, Zhao Tianlong didn't seem to care about Shun Pan's sacrifice. Zhao Tianlong had just achieved success, and he had already done such a thing. As expected, men were all heartless. A person like Zhao Tianlong was willing to abandon his conscience for the sake of fame and fortune. As if he could see the contempt in Zhao Yun's eyes, Zhao Tianlong felt ashamed. Eldest cousin brother, congratulations on your success in the capital. AI, when will you bring sister-in-law, and eldest uncle and aunt over to enjoy life in the capital? Zhao Yun deliberately asked, wanting to see how Zhao Tianlong would answer. She wanted to see how disgusting his cousin was. Zhao Tianlong embarrassedly replied that they're not used to living in the capital. After all, they're not familiar with the place. It's better to stay in Yang City. Fallen leaves return to their roots. When one gets old, they'll eventually return to their hometown. The sarcastic smile on Zhao Yun's lips deepened. He was indeed shameless. This reason was quite invincible. If she remembered correctly, before the first branch's family had arrived in the capital, they had been in high spirits. How could they not be used to it? He hadn't stayed in the capital for more than a few days, and for some reason, he went back. Now that he thought about it, it should be Zhao Tianlong who had rushed back. After all, if Zhao Tianlong was willing to abandon his wife, it was not impossible for him to do other things. That, second cousin, your eldest cousin, and I will go back first. Zhao Tianlong couldn't stand Zhao Yun's gaze. He felt extremely guilty and wanted to run away with his tail between his legs. Zhao Yun did not stop Zhao Tianlong. Instead, she nodded her head in response. After the banquet ended, Zhao Yun wanted to wait with Mu Lianfeng for Yi Li to leave together. However, because Yi Li was being pestered by Anil, Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng did not want to disturb him. They could only leave first. Anil stood in front of Yi Li and looked up to meet Yi Li's eyes. He questioned Yi Li, "Why won't you look at me? We haven't met for so long, and you already don't recognize me?" Yi Li calmly replied, "I don't recognize you." Anil's mouth twitched even more. He huffed, "You don't recognize me? How can you not recognize me? Take a good look at me. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.